I'm sorry, we'll start that over. Hello, welcome to the Bad Asian Podcast. I'm your host, David Nguyen. Today, joined with me is a very special guest. She is a fellow Vietnamese person, actress. She is part of Queens, the series.
Yes.
Everybody, please welcome Carolina Doe. So let's start at the very beginning. Do you have a Vietnamese name?
I do.
What is it?
Well, it's Tiêu Phương. It's not actually it's not even a Vietnamese name. My parents named me Carolina.
That's on your birth certificate.
That's on my birth certificate.
Okay.
It's Carolina Doe. But my dad named me Tiêu Phương for all the Vietnamese people, and it means little phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
And then my sister's name is Hồng Phương in Vietnamese.
Is that big phoenix?
That's like crimson or pink phoenix.
Right.
It's just so much better than mine. I was growing up, I was why the fuck am I little phoenix? I'm the first one. And my dad was don't worry about it. And I was okay, fine, okay.
Well, was she the favorite growing up?
Probably. I mean, she's the one that is the least trouble.
Is she a doctor?
She's getting her PhD in clinical neuropsychology.
He knew.
Yeah, I mean, she's 3 years younger, smart as fuck, knows Vietnamese better than I do. She's the favorite child, of course, and I'm the one that my mom's always texting how are you, did you eat, I'm so worried about you, all in the same sentence. I'm come on, man, I'm surviving, I'm out here.
But are you thriving like the phoenix that you are?
Sometimes I'm I don't think I'm thriving, but I can't tell my mom that. I can't, she's on Facebook and Instagram now, and I mean, I hope she never sees this, because I'm I gotta start making a list of things where she just can't see.
Just unfriend her, block her.
I can't unfriend my mother. That's gonna break her heart.
Why not?
No, I'm not unfriending my mother.
Get a Finsta.
No.
Report her account.
Oh my god.
And
No,
have her,
I can't.
this is hate speech.
I know. She just finds so much joy. I think now, I don't know if your mom has Instagram.
She does. We're not friends.
Oh my god. See, you're literally blocking her from this piece of your life that she desperately needs. Because my mom's oh yeah, I watch your stories every day. It helps me miss you less. And
that's cute.
I know it's cute, but it's also with a little bit of that guilt. Because she's being really nice and really cute, but also there's that hint of I wish you would visit more.
Yeah.
I wish you weren't doing this path.
One day I hope to watch your story and see you're enrolling into
Exactly.
doctorate school.
Yeah. Oh yeah. One day I hope to see you on TV. My mom was always "Oh, it was so great. Are you in Hollywood yet?" I'm "No, Mom. I'm still in Brooklyn. Still in Brooklyn."
So just one sister?
One sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
Parents, are they still together?
Yes.
Okay, but begrudgingly?
They are. They have taken over a year of therapy sessions, of my therapy sessions, and trying to figure out what their relationship is.
They actually went to a person?
No.
Okay,
me. It was
that's
me.
more on brand.
Yeah, it was me talking to my therapist about my family. I mean, I don't know. Is this normal for other families?
That's very Asian.
Yeah.
That they send you in, okay, these are our problems. We can't go directly because that's shameful.
Yeah.
But here are our problems.
Here are our problems.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so me just talking about it, but still I haven't even scratched the surface of it. And it's only been through me writing a play about them that I'm understanding okay, maybe these two people love each other, maybe it's not love, maybe they didn't ever maybe they needed to get a divorce, but maybe because that's not the society that we grew up in then, and also they were both refugees, and so they're each other's family.
Did they meet in Vietnam or over here?
They
or
met in
on
Vietnam.
The boat?
Dude, they met in a re-education camp.
Wow.
Yeah. So so my mom was a freedom fighter.
School sweethearts.
Yeah, right. My mother was an anti-communist freedom fighter, and so she was I think she assassinated some Viet Cong.
Good for her.
Yeah, right. And then her family were all involved in the organization, and then someone snitched. Someone always snitches. I know, someone
it's
did.
Always a snitch.
It's always a fucking snitch. And so it was her brother.
Did she kill the snitch?
No, she didn't. I know. And I was what? You had two people to kill, and you only killed one? Okay.
When you rewrite the story where she finds the snitch, kills
Yeah.
him. Like have a Taken spin-off
Yeah,
where she
I
hunts him
know.
down and kills him.
That's a really good idea because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
still I'm trying to figure out like what I do with that character because
Yeah.
you introduce this character, he's kind of like a nice person, and then in the next scene you find out he's a snitch and you never see him again.
Right.
And so that's a good idea. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
steal
We'll
that.
write it together.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever saw that one movie, Munich.
No.
Yeah, it's about Nazi hunters.
Uh-huh.
So after World War II, a bunch of the Israelis, they went and hunted down all the Germans who escaped into like Argentina and all over the world, and they just killed them or brought them back to
Okay.
Israel to hold for trial.
Wow.
Now the Vietnam is a little bit different, but she have a badass story about where all the refugees go
Yeah.
hunted down all these Viet Cong stitches.
Dude, I mean, this is something that I want to. I mean, I don't know who's watching this. I don't know if there are Vietnamese people watching this.
It's just gonna be your mom.
Okay, yeah. Because, the tea that I'm spilling, I'm like, this could get someone into trouble. But, like, in the late 80s and 90s, there was the Born to Kill gang, which is in Chinatown. Like, they were running this place. And then in the late 80s, there was, like, this killing spree of Vietnamese journalists all over America, and to this day no one's figured out like who was behind it. Was it because they were pro-communist journalists, or was it because they were critiquing the people that already came here, the leaders, because they were trying to fundraise this insurgency to take back the country, but it had been like 10 years and they were like, if you haven't done it in 10 years, maybe you shouldn't do it anymore, and then they got killed. And no one to this day knows what happens, and that's such a great story. But the Vietnamese community has kind of closed itself off. So I think a white journalist tried to get himself in, and he just ran into so many walls.
Good. Stonewall that guy.
I know, and
you don't need to know.
I'm like, but I do. I want to know because it's such a crazy story that no one talks about.
So your parents met at the re-education camp?
Yes.
Okay.
My dad was my uncle's cellmate.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And did he make the introduction?
What happened was they all knew of my mother because she was badass.
She was that bitch.
She was that bitch. And then my dad got released a year earlier than my mom or whatever, so that whole time he was planning an escape, making connections with a boat, blah blah blah. And then he finally my uncle was released. He came to my uncle and was like, hey, let's go on a boat together. And by that time my uncle already had young children, and so he was like, I'm not gonna go on this boat, I can't do it. But my sister has been looking, why don't you take her? And so I guess they did it. And but this is what I only learned literally 2 years ago, is that this whole time my mom was in love with this other guy. And he got out of jail earlier, and he ended up marrying some other woman because his family was wrecked after the war, and so he married this woman because she had money or whatever. And my mom was brokenhearted about it, so she was like, well, fuck you, I don't need you, whatever. And so she got on the boat, escaped with my 16-year-old cousin, and then apparently the guy, the lover, kept sending her photos and was like, oh, I miss you, I'm so sorry.
Such a fuckboy move.
I'm like, oh, I messed up.
Is his name Kevin Nguyen?
If he had an English name, his name would be fucking Kevin Nguyen, man.
Cute.
I know. Cute Nguyen. Yeah, he was just like, yeah, I miss you, blah, blah. And then the sad, tragic thing was that he got to Australia and then he died in a car accident. And there was never
any closure?
Never any closure for my mom. And then she and my dad, I guess, got together, and then she had a baby, and then another baby.
Yeah.
And that's their love story, whatever the fuck that is.
What was your dad's role during the war?
He was a South Vietnamese soldier. He fixed helicopters.
Oh, that's tight.
Yeah. I think he enlisted when he was 18. Although my mom, whenever he tells the story, my mom's like, that didn't happen. What are you talking about? You were that. So, who knows anymore?
So you were just a clerk.
It's all
you were filling parts order.
She literally lays in on him. I'm like, this is just ruthless. This is merciless. Jesus Christ. But it's something that I think Vietnamese women can just do to Vietnamese men, where they literally can cut them down with a finger wave. That to us, we're like, oh my god, she just killed him right there. That was a kill move. And then he's like, fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, from my experience, Vietnamese women tend to be like the most hard-headed, stubborn, disobedient of the Asians.
Yeah.
More prone to fighting, not
Yeah.
out of like hot-bloodedness,
Yeah.
but just, you know, that's the natural reaction is
Yeah.
to fight and not take shit from nobody.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like I grew up in San Jose, so lots of Vietnamese people, exclusively Vietnamese people.
Yeah.
So you know that stereotype that Asian women are like submissive and docile. I never understood that.
Oh yeah,
It's
I was like, I don't.
Who are these Asian women you're talking about?
I'm like, can I meet them?
Yeah.
Can I hang out with
I
them?
would love to meet a docile Asian person.
Yeah,
No,
but-
they're all just like loud and vengeful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. Like, gosh, like, I remember my aunt would be like, you know, something said someone like back when, because I grew up in Greensboro where there wasn't a lot of Vietnamese people, but there was enough that you could still fight with people. And so they would someone would say something mean to my mom, and my aunt would be like, oh, we're gonna go kill them.
Yeah, let's fight.
Let's go fight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, as a kid, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But for her, she was like, it's normal. Let's go kill. Let's
Yeah.
go. Like, I
Then-
got nothing to lose.
And Vietnamese men tend to be very like fuckboys. They're like very frivolous, very.
They have like a second family
very
somewhere.
chill, very relaxed. Like even if you go to Vietnam now, it's like they work hard during the day, but then at night it's
Yeah.
drinking coffee
Yeah.
and boozing until the sun comes up,
Exactly.
and then they'll go into work either high on coffee or
Yeah.
a little drunk. But
Yeah.
like it's whatever.
It's
you know?
whatever. They have like a vibe.
Yeah.
It's their vibe. Like they would be the California surfer
Yeah.
dudes if they were near.
Because it's a very tropical
Yeah.
climate, so it's
Yeah.
very relaxed. There's
It's
always
so-
a nice breeze,
Yeah,
or
it's-
it's hot. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
It's so true because like whenever I go back to Vietnam, it's always like the women are working, guys are chilling. And I'm
Yeah,
like, do these guys
it's
work?
always the women
I'm like, do
working.
these guys work at all? But then like they go do something,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, what do they do? What is this mystery way that they're earning money, and what is happening here? Okay.
They're very innovative and industrious, but just in a very relaxed and
Yeah.
casual kind of way.
Yeah.
So that would like upset a Vietnamese woman because it's like I worked so much harder than you.
Exactly. Like, why can't you build an empire for
Yeah,
me?
you could. It's
yeah.
like-
He's like, I could,
It's
but
good, but I got 13 to play. I got coffee to drink.
I know. And like drinking coffee is so real. Like you can spend 6 hours drinking coffee.
Yeah.
Like whenever I go back to Vietnam, I'm like, well, I'll meet you guys. We'll just stay here. You guys just come and visit us.
Right.
You stay in one place long enough, the whole city comes to you.
Like cafe culture is different because in America you're just drinking coffee on the go. You just need the
Yeah.
energy to go do other shit.
Yeah.
Whereas drinking coffee is just I'm relaxing, I'm talking
Yeah.
shit, gossiping, gambling.
Exactly. And I miss that. I feel like there's that other part of me, the real Vietnamese part of me that's not Americanized, that's like, I can just really sit and shoot the shit with someone if I'm having a good time for hours. For hours. I don't need to do anything, where like, because I have a lot of Vietnamese friends now who are from Vietnam. And so when we hang out with each other, it could be like, we're like, hey, let's go meet for lunch.
Yeah.
And then 3 hours, 4 hours later, we're like, oh, let's do this. We're just chilling. And then we forget, like, oh, I had a job.
Yeah.
I have a job that I have to go to, that I have to clock in for. You guys.
I said, no, it'll take care of itself. Don't worry. Like, my dad, he has a very laissez-faire kind of attitude.
Oh, yeah.
Never worried about money a day in his life.
Yeah, because the mom's worrying about it.
The mom's worrying about it, and then he's like, you'll take care of me. Like, it doesn't matter. It's like,
Yeah.
things will take care of itself as it always does. And the women are always like, no, stressing, taking care of the kids.
Yeah, and I
keeping
guess
the house together.
And I guess that's like, from the outside, I'm always like, Jesus Christ, my dad is doing nothing. What the, like, my mom is doing all the work.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just a cultural thing.
Well, like your mom's probably looking at your dad's like, this guy ain't shit.
She is.
It's like, where's Kevin? But if she got with that guy, it'd be the same
It'd
thing.
be the same thing.
Shit.
It's the same thing. Like, because there are moments where I ask her, I'm like, yo, mom, if he is this, if he ain't shit, why don't you just leave him? And mom's like, no, we have a life together.
Yeah.
And then she loves him, and then she goes and like takes care of him, and she gives him like a little like pat or something. I'm like, what the fuck? What is happening? Because it doesn't fit the like growing up like Brady Bunch type of family. And we're like, okay, this is just the Asian Vietnamese way.
Right. It's
know?
like as Asian Americans, we impose an American sense of romance and love
Yeah.
onto our parents, and that's just it's not going to reflect the same.
Yeah.
I remember I was at a family friend's party, and the dad called his daughter fat, and she was, right? But she burst out crying, and she's like, "Why would he say that? You know, dads are supposed to love you no matter what." It's like, I don't. That's a very American.
That's such an American thing.
Because like Asians is like your love is very conditional.
Yes.
Whereas American love tends to be unconditional.
Yeah.
Love you no matter what. Say no. There's guidelines. You have to reach certain milestones. You have to be a good person.
Yeah, you have to do shit.
Yeah.
Like that's what my mom is always like. Like you have to do stuff. You have to be a good person. Here's some food. I'm mad at you, but here's some food. But also you need to get straight A's,
like,
man.
He's like, eat, but don't eat too much.
Yeah.
It's like eat, exercise it all off
I
immediately.
had strangers, Vietnamese women strangers, come up to me and call me fat. You know,
But that's how to love, though.
That's how they love, I guess. They like they measure your wrist and they're like, oh, and I'm like, fuck, this is not helping me. Teen magazines are telling me I'm too fat. You're telling me I'm too fat, but you're saying it's a good thing. They're saying it's a bad thing. Where am I in this world?
Well, for them, it's like maybe she doesn't know she's fat. We gotta tell her. That's where it is.
Yeah.
I don't think she knows.
Yeah. If you ever need honesty, is like go to a Vietnamese woman and just ask her. She'll tell you before. Like she's like, no, don't follow.
She'll just dress you down. It's like, here's what's wrong with you. Here's how you get a husband.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of course. I love it.
It's like become a doctor, find a husband, and then quit your job immediately to raise kids.
Oh yeah. My mom, literally, my earliest memories have always been her in the driver's seat driving, and her telling my sister and I, Carolina, Cardinal, when you're 30, so you're going to go to school, you're going to get a PhD, you're going to become a doctor. When you're 30, then maybe you can think about holding hands or making friends with a guy. And I was like...
A Vietnamese guy, though.
Yeah. And I was like, how am I supposed to meet a Vietnamese guy at 30? Like, if I've never talked to a guy before in my life until then, Mom. She's like, why are you questioning these things? Why are you doing it? Just be a doctor. And I'm like, but I just don't understand the logic of where we're trying to go here. And she's like, no, you're going to hold hands and then you guys get married. I'm like, but what if we have no chemistry? She's like, it doesn't matter.
She's like, what's with all this back talk?
Yeah, she's like, does he have a good job? And I'm like, I don't know. He's fictional. He doesn't exist right now.
So your mom and dad met at a re-education camp, came over on a boat together.
Yeah.
They landed in Carolina. Which one?
North Carolina. I'm named
Okay.
after the state.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a nice name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, now.
Wait, what's wrong with it? I guess in Carolina they made fun of you.
Yeah, because, you know, everyone was a Jennifer or a Brittany, you know, and I was Carolina.
But those names suck now.
Yeah, they suck now, but in, like, the 90s and the early 2000s, it was shit. You know,
Okay.
I just wanted to be, like, Tina.
Wow.
Like, just give me a Tina. Although there was a girl named Tina Doe, who everyone always confused me with.
Okay.
And she was real bad.
Like how bad? Like, did she make you look better?
She got into fights with people. She was someone's baby mama.
Oh, that's
and
pretty
then
bad.
she got like suspended, and they accidentally called my mom in.
Oh, damn.
And then my mom is literally sitting to this man lecture her for like 15 minutes about how bad her daughter is. And she's like, what? I thought Carolina was great. Like, I thought she was straight A's, blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, and he brought her in. She's like, that's not my daughter. I'm so sorry, that's not my daughter. And the principal was like, who is she then? And she's like, I don't know. That's not even, we're not even the same people.
You know what's funny is I had a similar story where in middle school, a guidance counselor called me into the office and then sat down and talked to me. It's like, you know, David, we've been hearing you've been talking about suicide. I was like, are you talking about maybe the other David Nguyen? And she's like, oh.
I know, it's hard. The names are hard. It's like, Jesus Christ. It's hard.
What did your parents do?
They run a grocery store.
Oh.
Yeah, they're like very entrepreneurial.
What kind of grocery store?
It's so it used to be like a Vietnamese / fish market.
Okay.
Which was really like not fun growing up. Where I was like, Jesus Christ, these people are working. They never close down. Never. 7 days a week, 367 days a year, like that kind of stuff.
You guys never went on vacation?
No, vacation is not a thing.
Okay.
Christmas wasn't a thing. Like,
I mean that, yeah.
New Year's wasn't a thing. Like Vietnamese New Year's, like they celebrated when we were kids, and then they just stopped. And then we were like, "Is there a day off for any of us?" Like I remember Christmas. we'd have to be like, hey, it's Christmas, we have off. Hey, why don't you guys close maybe 2 hours early? And my dad would be like, why? And so we had to plan like a Christmas concert for them to come and attend so that they can be like, oh, let's ration it.
Okay.
And, like, we can close the store because Carolina and Cardinal are making a concert for us, kind of stuff. So now they it's kind of, they've rebranded. Now they sell stuff for West Indies, African, Caribbean food. Because there's a huge immigrant population of people from West Africa in Greensboro now.
Did you guys have money growing up?
No, not at all. I mean, I never went hungry. There was always food, but we bought everything like from the thrift store. I remember my first pair, remember glitter pants?
No.
Oh my god, okay, so glitter pants were like the biggest deal growing up. And I just wanted a pair of those like glitter jeans. And my mom bought me a pair from the Family Dollar store, you know.
And you felt humiliated?
I felt humiliated. I mean, I didn't know what brands were growing up. I remember, so like in 7th grade. Okay, first off, so I went to like an all black school growing up. And all these kids always had like the freshest clothes. And I was like, how are they affording this? Like, Jesus Christ. And then I didn't know what Nike was. I didn't know what anything that I got was like secondhand from Goodwill. And then
was there no Costco in?
They went to Sam's Club. You know, that was a thing.
They didn't have, what's Sam's Club's Kirkland equivalent?
It's like a Costco, but it was more like, it's because Sam's Club is owned by Walmart or something like that, so they're all, and Sam's Club is like for business. It's like Costco, but like less cool.
Okay.
Yeah, less cool Costco. So we didn't have, I don't think we had money growing up. Like, our place was getting robbed every like few weeks or so.
By other Vietnamese people?
Probably, you know, by other Vietnamese people. I remember like coming home and someone just like, our house was a mess. They were just trying to, and they stole like, because my parents would store things there, and so like they stole all these bottles of cooking wine. It's like, of course.
Definitely inside job.
Yeah, like definitely fucking Asians, because no one would look at these cases of cooking wine and be like, okay, we're gonna do that.
Did they hide money in the mattress?
No,
okay,
but they hide
good.
money in like very, very great. They're slowly letting me in on it, and I'm like, you're doing that?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, don't do that. Put it in the bank. But
what you really mean is it is in the bank, and all you guys have at home are knives and guns ready to go.
Dude, my dad had a gun like growing up.
Yeah,
I was just like, Jesus Christ, this is really scary.
Really? You thought so?
Yeah, because I think I've always like been scared of guns, and I think because our household wasn't a very stable household. I mean, I grew up in like with a bunch of people who were Geminis and also war refugees, and so like a few days they'd be calm, and then something would spark, and they would be fighting for, you know, hours, like really, really violent fights that, you know, I would call the cops, and then they would just be like, nothing happened. And I'd be like, did I make this up? I did make this up. And so, you know, growing up with that, I feel like has been a lot of me trying to be like, okay, these were the people I grew up with. They never hit me. They never did anything, like, they never abused me verbally and all that stuff. But there was like crazy shit that they were dealing with that affected us growing up.
So what happens when you don't take a vacation or have breaks off work? You just hit the ground in America running? Exactly.
They never believed that they had a day off. They never believed that I mean, now they have money. Like, they can go on a vacation. They're 60, they're almost retirement age. So they could. And yet they're like, no, we have to work. And I think for them, that's how they are staying ahead of the trauma, you know, because if they were to just sit there and stop working, they'll just really lose it.
Well, I think with a lot of refugees, they're still in survival mode.
Yeah.
They're still, like my mom, she continues to just hoard things.
Yeah.
So if someone offers her, it's like, hey, this is a free futon, she's like, I'll take it.
Yeah.
So hey, I have a broken piano. Do you want a broken
Yeah.
piano? So yeah, absolutely. So at one point, my house it like had like multiple sets of furniture,
Yeah.
multiple futons, multiple piano. Even though no one played the piano,
Yeah.
she's just like, yeah, you'll learn.
Do
Don't
you have
worry.
more than one sibling? Or-
Yeah, I'm one of 4.
Okay, yeah. I think, yeah, I mean, my dad still hoards, and it's like getting to that point where he has like 50 yogurt cups, you know, that are empty. And every time whenever I go home to
Does
visit.
he drink out of it? Like, does he clean it and drink
he cleans
it?
out, you know, that's, and I get it, I'm like, oh, that's a really good way of recycling. That's
Yeah.
very, like, environmentally friendly of you here.
Yeah.
But do you need 50?
Yeah.
And, you know, he's a hoarder.
Yeah. He said, you don't think you need
You don't
50,
think you
but
need
when
50.
the communist
Yeah,
comes and takes your 49, you're
He's
going to be
been, like-
lucky I
and
have 50.
I mean, he's been a very interesting case study, and I think that's the only way that I can see him as a human being, because otherwise if I see him as my dad, I lose my shit, because I'm like, I can't deal with you right now because you're making me so anxious. Like,
In what way?
Because he's like, so my parents, both war people. The way that my mom's managed to deal with things is that she works. She's a hardworking person. She's managed to integrate herself into the world. She's a very sweet woman. She's like found herself. She's become zen about it in the way where she's like, I have these 2 girls that I've raised. They're my future. They're my legacy. I'll worry about them, but what I left behind is fine. My dad, on the other hand, I think because his father was worked with the French government, and also I learned like a few years ago that after the war ended and after he was in the re-education camps, the Viet Cong made him dig up his father's grave.
Wow.
Like, as a fuck you. Like, they made him dig up his dad's grave.
And do what?
And just like move it to the side because they were like, oh, we're building a road here. And it was because like, oh, because this man worked in the French government, also your son was a traitor, also because his whole family were soldiers in the South Vietnamese army, and so they really got punished, and he lost, my dad in a way I think lost a lot of his sense of self, his manhood, everything. And so he's kind of gone down this rabbit hole where he's been reading the Pentagon Papers, he's been reading just all of these paper that leads up to the fact that like Vietnam was a fucking conspiracy where it was just so that these so and so bigger powers can bomb this little country that didn't matter to fuck with one another. And yet these were these real life consequences. He lost his family.
Right.
And so he's very, very bitter, and he's very, very like anti-Clinton, very like he's becoming like very, very right wing in a weird way, like, except for the fact that like he's gay, he's like great with like homosexuality, he's like he's very liberal, except when it comes to the government, and he traces it back to like, this is what Clinton did, and Clinton opened the embargo that let these communists be able to trade, and you know, so he gets like really, I say psychotic, he gets irrational about these things. And so the way that he does it, and then he's been hoarding things, and he like doesn't throw away anything, and he just spends like hours on the computer just trying to track down stuff. And I'm like, but where are you gonna write a paper about this? Like, what are you gonna do? You're just using this, you're just making yourself more and more frustrated. Like, you gotta let go of the past, sir. But he can't, and so I think that for him, that's where for me my frustration is like, you have to move forward.
Right.
Like, you can't take back the country. That's not a thing anymore.
Not with that attitude.
Not with that attitude. Yeah, like,
It's like, if I had a son,
yeah,
we'd be rocking.
We'd be rocking. We'd be like going out, and
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, like, come on, let's think about how you can make a difference now. But for him, he's like stuck in that time. And so it's been like, I think it's like very frustrating, but it's also been a really good thing where like now I'm introducing him to like my partner who listens to him, and who's a guy, and I think he is able to like, yeah, they don't speak the same language at all, and so I think sometimes my dad just rants at him, but my dad's getting like another outside ear to his thoughts that make him feel more like, okay, there's someone listening to me. But
Does he not have like friends?
no,
Whoa.
he does not. He used to have friends. I remember he had lots of friends. Like, they would go out and yell all the time. They would like be out and then something snapped a few decades ago. Something snapped, and now he doesn't. He's got a very set routine. He wakes up, he goes to the store, he stays at the store. At night, he comes home, and then he eats dinner and goes to sleep, watches the news a little bit. Like, we got married 2 years ago, and we were having a wedding up in upstate New York. And I was like, hey, I would like you to come to my wedding. You approve of this marriage. Can you walk me down the aisle? And my dad was like, oh, no, I have to take care of the business. Otherwise, who will open it? And I'm like, you can close the store for 1 day. You can close it for 2 days. Like, it's your daughter's wedding. You're never going to do this again. I mean, because Cardinal's never getting married. Come on.
She's not?
I don't know. Maybe she's going to get PhD. Like, who wants a well-educated woman right now at this point? I'm kidding.
In this economy?
In this economy? Like, I mean, actually, she is. I would marry her.
No, that's what I'm saying. In this economy, yeah.
She's gonna
These bitch ass millennials, yeah, they'll take a rich woman. Sure.
That's true. She's good. Well, see, I didn't know that like a few years ago. Like, so.
Yeah, America's soft now. These new Asian dudes, they soft.
I know. She's gonna like. I was like, Cardinal, just move to New York. Your Tinder is gonna be blowing up. Like, she's like, no. I'm like, come on, just.
No. She, New York's not for her. Go to Houston.
Houston?
Yeah.
She went to San Jose. She's like, I really like it. I like being surrounded by Vietnamese people.
I mean, yeah, that's great. But I know those Vietnamese people. She don't want that. She don't want that. No, go to Houston. They're nice.
Okay. Yeah, maybe Houston. She's like more southern.
Yeah, there's like less fuckery, I think, in Houston.
Okay. So all the guys in like West Coast are fuckboys.
Okay, so you know that Kevin Nguyen meme?
Yeah.
The fuckboys? What we talking about?
Can we trace that back?
So now I have West Coast bias. I'm not ashamed to say it at all. Very proud. So I feel that Asian American culture is dictated by West Coast Asians.
Okay.
Okay. Just because it's closer to the homeland. All the shit that comes from the homeland hits California first, and then travels across to the rest of the U.S.
Yeah.
Right? And plus, it's just more concentrations of Asians in California.
Exactly.
All right. Now, East Coast has its own thing. New York, yeah. Chinatown's been around forever. Fine.
Yeah, but there's not really like a vibe.
There's not a vibe. No.
Yeah.
So, all that fuckboy shit that originated, I feel like, in San Jose and in SoCal, and then because SoCal people will go up to like Stanford and Berkeley to go to school, and then the people in the Bay will go down to UCLA and USC. There's cross-pollination of fuckery. So if she goes out there looking for like a decent Vietnamese dude, she's just gonna find a bunch of bitch ass or fuckboys.
Okay,
right?
So Cardinal's not good.
Like I love Vietnamese people in San Jose. I'll write for them forever, but I know
they just won't make good spouses right now.
I mean, depends on what she wants with the spouse. Is she okay with a secret family?
Oh my God, no.
Okay, then.
We already have a secret family. We're done.
Oh my God, I gotta get into that. Then.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I'm very interesting.
Yeah. All right, Houston. nice Vietnamese people come from Houston.
Yeah.
No, there's fuckery everywhere, and then Vietnamese men are just Vietnamese men.
Yeah. Oh right? Yeah. Oh yeah.
But she doesn't want to go like right into the heart.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know, it's going
I feel
through
like
like
it'll be a culture shock for her being surrounded by so many Asians.
If she's been there before, it's cool. But all these tech bros,
yeah,
they
she's
suck.
not a party girl.
I mean, there's like boring people out there too.
Yeah,
no
I need
doubt.
her to find some boring people.
Okay.
You know, she's.
I mean, it depends on what her mentality is. She can find a nice, boring tech loser as well, but they're not gonna be like they're bored. Like they're boring.
Yeah.
Right? Like soulless, lack of personality.
Okay.
It's like I wear Patagonia and own a Tesla, and that is my personality. Boring.
No, I need like a nice, stable man for her. A good guy. A good rock.
Okay. Go to Vietnam.
No. That's like the worst.
How dare you?
My mom would lose her. My dad would die. He'll be like, "Is he Viet Cong?" Like it doesn't even matter that he like has like all the paperwork that proves it. He's like, no, we're not.
But what if he has a $40,000 check for her to get a green card marriage? She'll hold that leverage over him. So like, listen, you be a good man, or it's back to Vietnam for you.
Take care of the kids, and I'm gonna go be a
doctor. Yeah. No, that probably wouldn't fly because of the patriarchy in Vietnam is so strong. So probably couldn't handle like that.
He'll probably end up having a second family to prove his manhood. Blah blah blah.
All right. Yeah. So I don't know what. Go tell your sister go check out Houston first.
Okay. Thank you for the talk.
Or maybe Virginia. I don't know what
Yeah.
Vietnamese people in Virginia are like, but I'm sure they're nice.
I mean, I feel like they're dangerous.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I haven't been to like Virginia.
Yeah, I just know there's Vietnamese people in Virginia.
Yeah.
There's some in Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
in Philly specifically.
Philly.
Yeah.
There's really good Philly Vietnamese.
Yeah, nothing in New York, but
No.
surprisingly Philly. When I visit there, I say, okay,
Yeah.
Philadelphia.
You
That's
know,
what's up.
I went to what was it, Cafe Diem, and I went down, or was it? No, it was the one next to it, and I had like the best bún bò way and the best bún riêu of my life. And then like go down the stairs to the bathroom, and you're like, it's an Asian restaurant. Yes, very authentic. And then I ended up having to translate for the entire restaurant.
Oh, that's cute. Secret
Right.
Family. What's this about?
Oh my god. I found out on Facebook like a year ago. I found out in March. So my parents owned the store. And apparently, on Facebook, if enough people comment or talk about the store, it makes a page, an unofficial page for you. I didn't know that. Apparently it does. And so, like last year, my mom calls me and she goes like, hey, this woman came into the store, unrelated, like this woman came into the store and she was, your aunt maybe offended her, thinking that she stole something or something, and she was filming it, so it might be on the internet. And my worst case scenario was like, oh god, we cannot have a viral Asian family racist on the internet. I can't have that as part of my life. And so I'm on Instagram, on Facebook, like just Googling the name, just making sure that nothing's happening. And so I found the Facebook. And then I scroll down, I look, and I'm like, there's some nice little reviews about our store. Oh, there's some reviews about my dad being a dick. Okay, great. What the fuck? And it's this woman who posted, hi, my name is so-and-so. You're my father, Mr. Tahudo, like his full name. Please call me at this number, and it's a Vietnamese number. And my first thought was, oh, it's a scam. It's like an Asian bot. Okay, whatever. And then I was like, but wait a minute. How do they know his name? I got to get to the bottom of this. The shock, it's not coming. I'm like, okay, I just got to deal with this. I got to solve this. And so I friended her on Facebook, but it was like her fake Facebook. And so I found her real Facebook. I just went crazy. So I found her real Facebook, and then I messaged her and I was like, yo, what is this? Who is this? What is this? And she responds to me at like 3 a.m.
Vietnamese time?
Yeah, 3 a.m. my time, 3 p.m. her Vietnamese time, which I was up because I was shocked the whole day. I was like, is it true? Can it be? And then she's like, yeah, this is 2 years, because this was a post from 2 years ago. She was like, yeah, 2 years ago I was looking for my father. Someone told me that he was in Greensboro, that this was blah, blah, blah. And I was like, are you sure? Like, not giving anything away, because I'm like, this could be a scam to take my money. And I'm like, are you sure? Like, can you send me some proof? Because I just want to know. And she sends me like all these photos that she has, and on the back of all these photos is my dad's handwriting, like writing to her and being like, oh, you're my daughter, I named you this.
Did he name her Big Phoenix?
He named her like Cam, like
Okay.
feeling or something, I don't know. And he was in the Philippines at that time, and so he was like writing her little notes, and there was a little like picture of her like as a little baby.
With him?
No,
Okay.
because I don't think he ever saw her. I think when he left, she was still like either like a baby or still in the womb.
So she's your age?
She's 6 years older than me.
That makes sense.
It makes sense.
The timeline's adding up.
Exactly. So you're like, imagine me realizing that.
That's why you're the little Phoenix.
Yeah. Fuck, that's so true.
He already had a big Phoenix.
Oh, fuck. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah. So then it hits me. Oh my god. I'm the middle child. Oh my god. There was an older girl. Oh my god. My dad knew about it. Oh my god. Does my mom know about it?
Of course she does.
She does.
She does, of course.
She fucking does. The next day,
100%.
Yeah. So like also this girl's like writing it all in Vietnamese, and I can read Vietnamese, but like I question it. I'm always like, am I reading this right? Because this all the signals and the symbols maybe this translated. So I call my friend at like 3 a.m. I call her like 7 times. She's asleep. And I'm like, hey, I know you're asleep, but I have some real life crisis. Can you please translate this for me? She's like, yeah, she's saying that she's your dad's daughter. Apparently he and her mom were married, and then your dad went on a boat and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, right. And so I call Cardinal, and I'm like, hey, yo, this is what I found out. And she's like, are you serious right now? It's like 4 a.m. I have class in the morning. I can't deal with this. And I'm like, wow, okay, I'm going to deal with this on my own. I guess this is what I'm doing here.
It's amazing how you're the only one seem to be affected by this.
Yeah, I'm the only one who is freaking out.
Yeah,
I'm losing my mind. I'm crying. My husband's like, Carolina, calm down. I'm like, my whole life just changed. It just did. And why is everyone not reacting to this? No one is like, Carolina, how do you feel? Like, this is a big moment.
It's fascinating to hear people's like coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
Your sister's like, I got shit to do.
I have shit to do.
I'm gonna worry about this later.
Yeah.
Your dad's like, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
Your mom, she probably found a way.
So I called her the next morning. I called him because apparently in the middle of the night someone shot up the place. I know. So much drama can only happen to this family. And I call her. And
Did you black out and then go shoot up the place?
No, I didn't. I wish it was, because then that would make sense. So I call her. I'm like, okay, how's the store? Okay, the window's okay. Okay, can I talk to Dad? And she's like, okay, sure. And I asked my dad, I'm like, hey, Dad, so this is what I found out. I have a sister. Is that true? And he goes, oh. How do you know? And I'm like, Facebook. I found on Facebook.
Goddamn Zuckerberg,
and he's
ruining
like,
lives.
He's like, and then like starts to go on a rant about the communists.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this is okay, I can't. All right, fine. Can you please put me back on with Mom, please?
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, Mom, how are you? Because I'm like, at this time, like, I don't think she knows. What if she doesn't know?
Yeah.
And I go like, hey, Mom, so this is what I found on Facebook. Do I have an older sister? I have an older sister, right? She goes, yeah. Oh, that's your dad's business. I'm not going to talk about it. And I'm like, I need someone to tell me. Like, God damn it.
Shout out to strong Vietnamese women.
Yeah. She's like, yeah, that's your dad's thing. Let him talk about it when he wants to talk about it. For us, it doesn't matter to me. And I'm like, but it okay, fine, all right. Okay, we're not getting to the bottom of this now. So then I text my cousin who's in San Jose, who's older, who went on the boat with them. And I'm like, does he know? And I'm like, hey, yo, like, do you know about this? And he's like, oh yeah, how's your mom taking it? I'm like, she's fine. ... How am I taking it? And they're like, oh, don't stir up the pot. You don't cause more trouble. Blah blah blah. I'm like, I'm not trying to cause trouble. I'm just trying to figure this out. And I text my other cousin. I only have 2 cousins in America. She knew too. This whole time, the whole family, everyone knew. Probably in Vietnam too. Everyone knew that I had an older sibling. And then it all like hits me, like memories come flying back, and I'm like, oh, that's who they were talking about, fighting about as kids. That's who my aunt was losing her shit about. Oh. ... And to this day, so like now I'm like kind of like talking to the older sister. She has a baby. I'm an aunt. My dad, like, I showed the picture of the baby to my dad, and my dad's like, and I'm like, this is a cute little child here. Like, can we talk about this? Can you? So there's like all this.
You have a grandchild.
Yeah, you have a grandchild. Jesus Christ. And do you recognize the fact that your line is now only women, motherfucker? Because you fucked it up, and your genetics were like, we're done with men.
Well, did his other daughter have a boy or a girl?
It was a girl.
Damn.
Yep.
Okay.
Genetically, his line is fucked.
Well, what about the brother?
They're all dead.
So they didn't have kids?
They had kids, but I think they're all girls too.
God damn, golly. Okay.
Yeah. There are no boys left of this generation.
Well, that's it.
You know, the dough line dies with me, and I'm gonna tell that to my dad. I'm like, look, the last name is dying with me here. So you better answer, because I can erase you from history.
He's like, yeah. He's like, what can you do that the communists already haven't? Good luck. Come at me. Come at me.
Exactly. So yeah, so I have a older half sister that no one's gonna talk about, and we'll never figure it out. We'll never get to the bottom of this.
But you seem to want some kind of relationship with her.
I do, and I think I'm handling this really well, very maturely.
Is she in Vietnam or?
She's in Vietnam.
Okay.
She's really more successful than me. I am now the least successful out of my two sisters. I'm the least successful out of the three. I am a middle child. And I'm the only person who seems to want to, like, you know, heal the trauma in this family.
Well, I mean, not to put you in a way, but it sounds like everybody's handling it okay except for you.
Probably, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, like you're the only one who seems to be stuck on this.
Yeah, well,
like everybody already
yeah, but everyone's like
accepted it.
handling it by not handling it, by like cutting all these people off in a way, you know?
Yeah.
And I get it.
That's one way to handle it.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, I guess. Yeah, maybe I'm the one that's not handling it well.
This is what happens when you go to therapy. You learn all these things,
Yeah,
like,
you're like-
mechanisms
Yeah.
that you're supposed to, you know, apply.
Yeah.
When,
But
like, if
these-
you don't go to therapy, you never learn them, and so
Yeah.
you don't have to apply them.
These people are not dealing with it at all. You know, they're gonna take it to the grave.
Yeah.
You know, and that's fine. You know, the artist part of me is like, okay, I'll just write a play about this. I'll write a movie.
It's gonna
about
be a great play
Yeah,
already.
it's already a great play. It's already a great movie.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna win. Like I'm gonna do it like the farewell. I'm
Yeah.
gonna take that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I'm the one that's not dealing with it well.
Yeah, I mean, the farewell, yeah, we're hiding cancer, big deal.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, bullshit.
Hide a family. Hide a family.
It's like every time like I hear about other Asian people's
Yeah.
stories, I'm like, you've never met a Vietnamese person, have you?
Yeah.
Because the shit that we're hiding, like that's like 7 movies. That's The Godfather right
Right.
there. Like that, come on. That's low stakes. That's low stakes that you're having to deal with. Like you're having a meltdown.
Yeah.
Talk about me.
Right.
You know. Yeah.
Let's transition a little bit because I do want to talk about your acting.
Oh, God. Yeah.
All right, so it sounded like you were doing plays as a little kid. All right, when did you transition into deciding this is what I want to do?
Probably when I graduated from college with a BFA. I was like, oh shit, I committed to this.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Were you doing it in high school?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was a big argument with my parents because I was set to like go to law school. I was going to do the whole law thing, which I still want to do because I'm like, I really believe strongly about certain things about the justice system. But then I think I went to a performing arts high school, and then it was like junior, senior year. People are like, "What are you doing for college?" I'm like, "Well, I'm auditioning to these. I'm submitting to these Ivy Leagues, and I'm gonna go to blah blah blah." And I got into like UNC Chapel Hill. I got waitlisted for Yale because I didn't even work on that application. I should have worked on that application. So I got into like these really good schools for like pre-law or whatever they were doing that. And then my high school teacher was like, "Hey, have you thought about acting as a career?" And I was like, "No." And then
So impressionable.
yeah, and she was like, "Well, I have this school that I really love in New York City. Brooklyn College has a really great program. Why don't you audition for it and try?" I auditioned for it. I got in, and I had like such a really great vibe from it. I was like, maybe this is where I'm meant to be. Like, I want to be in New York City. I also they were paying for all of my college.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, fuck, maybe I'll do that. And so I did it. And I guess like only a few years ago did I really go like, oh, I need to take this seriously as a career, that I can make something out of it, that there is a possibility for me to book work. Because I feel like when I was in school, it still felt like there was a drought for Asian roles that weren't stereotypical, that weren't, like racist. And then I did a lot of new theater, new works that people were casting me not because I was the Asian person, just because I was the best person that auditioned for the job. And so that was something where I was like, oh, there is a place in this career, this world, and by constantly working at it, I'm making it a little bit of a difference. And that's, I guess, how I started.
And you've been acting for 6 years?
Yeah, going on 6 years, like out of school. Yeah, I feel like the first 3 years were hard because I didn't know what I was doing. I was going in for like nail salon member number 2.
Of course.
You know, and I was like, this is not what I want to do with my life, and like had a breakdown. I was like, I'm gonna go and learn to be a baker. My mom was like, why are you choosing shitty careers one after another? Come on. And then I guess people were like, don't quit yet. And I think for a lot of me was that people were like, stop, don't quit. You're on the right path. And then I just started booking more stuff, and then like I booked a Broadway show, and then a second one. And so now, like in the past 6 months, it's felt like, oh, there's a little bit of a momentum. There's a space out here for you. And I think it also helped with me like writing my own play, where I was like, okay, what story do you want to tell? What's your purpose in life, Carolina? Like, it's not to be nail salon prostitute number 2. It's to tell a story. What's that story? And I think telling my parents' story was like what was really important to me, and the story of refugees. And so I think that's something. And then I started my theater collective, where it's 3 of us. We're 3 Vietnamese people. David Nguyen, he's an actor. And then Jonathan.
Lazy parents.
I know, right?
Lazy with the naming.
Lazy with the naming. And then there's Jonathan Castanin. He's Hapa, and me, and we're...
This is the Sống Collective?
Yeah, this is the Sống Collective. And we did like an all Vietnamese reading of Viet Gone. Have you seen Viet Gone or heard of it?
I've heard of it. I tried to catch it, but I think I missed it when it was out here.
Yeah. So they're doing like a sequel, Poor Yellow Rednecks, which is the sequel to Viet Gone. And for us, we were like, wait a minute, Viet Gone has been done all over the country by different theater companies, but it's never been done with an all Vietnamese cast. Can you believe that? It's been done with other Asians, but not with the people that have directly been affected by it. Like, think about how much more resonating it could be.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Just because if you think about how many Asian actors there actually are, and then how many of them are Vietnamese, and how many the Vietnamese actors care.
Yeah, and or of that even age range that can do it, and also who can rap and all these things. And we were like, but we know people who are Vietnamese who can rap, who can do this, and so we did it, and we had so many people show up, and it felt like, oh my God, this is a community that we're building here, where people were like, oh, this was the first time I'd seen Asians on stage. This was the first time I'd seen Vietnamese people. I didn't know there were Vietnamese actors, and I was like, we're out here. We're just like now coming into our own. And I think that's given me more purpose of like, okay, there's momentum for this. And like we have kids. I had a kid reach out to me from like an acting school. She's Vietnamese, and she was like, oh my God, I didn't know that there were other Vietnamese female actors out there doing it, and I'm so glad I found you. And I was like, oh my God.
Who's the most famous one?
Maggie Q.
She's Vietnamese?
Yeah, she's like half.
Okay.
Kelly Tran.
Okay.
Kelly Marie.
Okay.
Chantal, she's now on Black Lightning. Viv, she just did Queen Sugar.
Ali Wong, or half of her?
Yeah, half of her, you know. So it's coming, it's happening, but like none really like on the theater side, where we were like, where are the theater people? And I was like, I might be the only one coming out, but they're people. So it's like building that and cultivating that, because I feel like a lot of people of our generation didn't go to school for it yet. And so they were accountants or doctors or whatever, and they were like, oh, maybe I'll become an actor. And so they don't have that training behind them. That I think one of my goals in the next year is like, how do we equip these actors, these people who want to be actors, with the tools to help them succeed in the audition room? How do we give them like the lessons that I've learned through my training without like having them pay $50,000, you know, so that when the wave comes where people are like, oh, we want a Vietnamese cast for a Vietnamese show, all of us can be like, we're here, we're talented, let's go, here's the material, we're ready.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
When did you first feel like, holy shit, I'm an actress?
I still don't feel that.
Like there hasn't been any validation?
I mean, I think
like when you booked your first maybe Broadway gig?
I guess validation from my mother.
It always comes back to that, doesn't it?
Oh, fuck yeah. I know. It's like everything I do.
Spoiler alert, you're never gonna get it.
No, but I'm getting it slowly. Like she's DMing me. She's hitting me in my DMs, and she's like, because there are moments where I'm like, oh, I feel like shit. I don't think I did the right path. And she's like, Carolina, you were never gonna be a doctor.
Yeah.
you are telling a story, and like she's actually like very, very like the antithesis of Vietnamese mothers. Like she says I love you, you know, way too much maybe at this point where I'm like I'm feeling suffocated.
You know what that is you're not used to it.
Yeah, I'm like
that. So it's like I don't know how to handle this.
Yeah, but she like recognized, like when I booked the Broadway show, she was like, "Oh, Broadway, that's something I recognize."
Yes.
And then I just booked.
That's
like,
the doctor of acting.
Yeah, I was like, she's like, "Oh, that's something." And then I just booked like an episode, a small role on a CBS FBI show, and she was like, "Oh, CBS, oh."
Does she have friends?
She does. Oh, she's gonna tell these people.
Oh, yeah, see, that's what I was getting to.
Oh, yeah.
So she
she's
needed.
like, I can't wait to
She
brag.
needed you to give her something where she can
Brag,
brag.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what all she really wants.
Yeah, because downtown theater wasn't recognizable
Yeah, yeah,
to like you know,
Right.
Miss blah 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 in Greensboro. Broadway is.
Yeah.
and
CBS is.
CBS is. She's
So like in her inner circle, you know,
Yeah.
at first it's like, yeah, the cardinal is a doctor, y'all ain't shit. But now she's like, oh, my daughter's on CBS, so that's really cute. You have a doctor.
yeah, exactly.
Is your doctor on CBS? No,
Yeah.
shut the fuck up, get out of my face.
I know. Yeah. So I think that's something. I think that was something that made me feel like I was being an actor. Also, like,
But what about yourself?
myself.
Yeah. Because I think, is there ever going to be like this thing that once you obtain makes
know?
makes you exhaust that kind of inner doubt within yourself?
No, I thought getting Broadway would make me happy.
Mm-hmm.
I thought getting my first TV credit would make me happy. I think, and I feel like those things I'm checking off I make a list of things like these are what I want to accomplish, and I'm checking them off. And in the normal side of me is like, oh, you're good, you're where you need to be, you're doing the right stuff. And there's the other side that's like, oh, you're so far from where you gotta go. But I think what I've been finding joy and happiness in has been with my theater collective, where we're getting to talk to a younger Asian, and not even just Asian, but like POC, non-binary community that has so far felt excluded from like Broadway and off-Broadway. They don't feel like their stories have been told. And we've been able to, with, you know, our little budget is, we literally started with nothing, and now we have like $600 in our thing, but able to prioritize new plays. Like we just did a play reading of this new playwright's, he's from Chicago, and it's taking on the tropes of Madame Butterfly, Miss Saigon, and Kumiko the Treasure Hunter, and giving these three women who've been so destroyed on stage, because, you know, they all kill themselves. And it's like, how many more times do we have to see an Asian woman kill herself for some white man on stage? Like, when are people getting tired of it? But people aren't getting tired of it, because there's another Miss Saigon revival constantly.
Well, if you think about people who actually attend the theater,
Yeah,
it's not young Asian people looking for
Exactly.
representation.
Exactly.
It's old white people going, I want to see that bitch dead. Kill
Yeah,
her.
exactly. And it's like, why do we keep, those people are dying. I don't care about these motherfuckers anymore. I care about the younger people who have never seen themselves represented in theater or on stage or on camera, on screen. How do we make that happen for them? Because they have something to say. They have something that they've been wanting to express. And they've been like taught, like, oh, you go be a doctor, whatever, that'll make you happy. But no, it's telling these stories or showing a part of their artistic side. And I'm like, how do we help them with that?
Well, one thing is like we unfortunately have to take it upon ourselves
Yeah.
and support Asian arts.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest threshold with that is for Asian Americans to acknowledge that Asian art is as good as any other type of art.
Exactly.
And that's the biggest hurdle to clear.
Yeah.
But as more and more younger Asian Americans grow up and become more Americanized,
Yeah.
and as we get further away from our immigrant survival instincts,
Yeah.
you'll see more and more Asians get into like more creative aspects. And it's like, okay, I don't have to be a doctor, I don't have to be a lawyer or an engineer, I can
Yeah,
do
I'm so
acting
jealous
and
of those
other
kids
things.
right now, because they're like growing up in a world where anything is possible. You know, any field is possible for them because they have something to say. But back to what you were saying about like how we are getting further and further from our immigrant or refugee roots, I think there's been this fear that, oh my God, how can I be Asian in America, because I'll always be recognized as other. But if I don't
Make
know,
Andrew Yang president.
yeah,
Yang 2020.
I know, maybe, maybe he's getting there. It's exciting, but how do we stand up for our Americanness if we don't know where we came from? If we don't know, like, these are why our parents fought so hard to be here. These are the reasons why people fought so hard to be American. American isn't just a white person. America is coming here for the freedom of speech, freedom of all these things that in their countries they did not have. And we need to know that for ourselves so that we can be better allies for everyone else who's fighting. So that we can stop going into the model minority, white passing myth of like, no, people have always othered you. Own up to that and make friends and crossroads in your communities that have been marginalized. And that's something that's very exciting for me, where I'm like, I don't think my role as an actor is to just take a paycheck and do any role. My role as an actor is like, how do I, even with this little amount of money and platform that I have, how do I help people? How do I help that little girl that's in Greensboro right now that just was like, maybe I'll be an actor, or maybe I'll go into it, and be like, hey, it's possible, man. You can do it.
Yeah. What Asian Americans lack is leadership.
Yeah.
Because we don't have any great figureheads.
Yeah. And we're also like, we're not a monolith, and it's always like...
Understandable, but you don't have to necessarily be a monolith to have leaders and figureheads. It's like, if I asked you who is... name an Asian American leader.
Right now? Yeah.
Ever,
yeah.
Because like for Vietnamese people, it's like we can't say Ho Chi Minh. That's gonna get me killed.
Exactly. We can't say Nguyen because then that would get me killed. Like,
right.
I think we've been so used to fighting one another.
Yeah.
That I think maybe
But
now
like in terms of like leadership, it's like, all right, like who do we look to for inspiration? Who do we look to like follow? Because if you look at the other communities, like white people littered with like great figureheads, right?
Yeah.
Rip them off.
Exactly.
You can name black leaders. You can name Latin leaders.
Native American leaders.
Yeah.
But
Vietnamese people, it's like, like I'm pretty sure there's Chinese leaders, but I'm not. But like even the Asian leaders, like who do you look? Maybe Bruce Lee, be like Waters, like the most quotable thing you have.
Exactly.
But like, what does that get you? But like, he doesn't really teach you how to be like Asian Americans.
Exactly.
You have activists, which is fine, but their activists aren't leaders. They're not like, because like with Asian American activists themselves, it's like they don't want to be like
the figurehead people.
Well, like they don't want to tell you what to do because there's like a wokeness within them. So it's like, okay, we're all like, we're all this. You don't have to follow me, but like, this is important to respect each other and this and that. But like, you need like a strong figurehead. It's like, this is Asian American. This is why you should be proud.
Yeah, it feels like Andrew Yang is like the most. He's on the main stage now in a way.
He is on a main stage,
but they're not even letting him on the main
stage. But with
Andrew
Yang running for president, because he has to appeal to so many people, he can't appeal to his people.
Yeah.
So like Andrew Yang is going to be a leader for America, but he's not a leader for Asian Americans. Just like when Barack was a leader for America, he kind of shied away from being a leader for the black community in certain degrees.
Yeah. Because you can't. Because otherwise, then you become like
like Barack wasn't a Martin or Malcolm.
Yeah.
And not to say like Asian Americans need that type of leader, but we need a leader.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like we can't, like, there's no one to point to be like, that's that's the person.
Yeah, we don't have that. That's really sad. But also, like, we're young, but then also Chinatown, the Chinese community have been around since like the 1800s, even before. Maybe we just don't, I'm ignorant of their leaders, so I don't know.
But like no one else has like, really cobbled together. It's like, these are the tenets of what it means to be Asian Americans. Because that itself is like, it'll fall apart real quickly.
Exactly, and I think people are still figuring out what that is, and also I think people are afraid. I mean, I think in order for us to be a community that can work together, I feel like people need to realize that like there are lots of old grudges that that will get in the way if we don't talk about it. We need to talk about these old grudges. We need to talk about the power dynamics that have been within the Asian community of like what is it between South Asians, East Asians, all these things where Vietnam was conquered by China for 1,000 years, and even then that grudge is still in like the older generation's way of talking and thinking.
Younger generation, current generation.
Yeah, so it's like, how do we get past that? Also like in the media, we feel like there's so much like East Asian representation now, Southeast Asian not so much, and also it's like, why do these people keep getting to tell their stories and not us? Like that feeling of. So how do we get to that point of like, hey, let's all acknowledge how much we've all fucked over one another, and then work together. But I think it's hard. It's hard to get people to do that.
Well, also because it's so easy to faction off and then just incubate yourself within your own bubble. So it's like Koreans, they're like, well, we have K-pop. What do we need you for? Japan's like, we have Japanese culture. We don't need you.
Yeah.
And then Chinese people, it's like we're the oldest civilization. It's like y'all should be following us because y'all descended from us.
Yeah.
And then Vietnamese people was like, yeah, whatever, yes, live your life.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Vietnamese people are always the last people to jump on board with things. We're like,
but we are also one of the most, they're all independent, but Vietnamese people, it's like, we're never gonna join with anybody. It's like, it's very hard for me to take pride in other Asian shit. Like the farewell is like great.
Yeah.
I love the farewell. I don't love the farewell though, because it's Chinese.
I know, so it's like, how do we get beyond our biases? Because it's hard. Because I mean, like, what's Vietnamese farewell? Like, why aren't we doing it? And it's like,
I want to ride for Parasite so hard.
Yeah.
But it's not me.
It's not my thing.
Yeah, it's not my thing.
So it's, how do we find these common threads with one another? Because it happens. It exists.
I mean, I love Parasite. I love Farewell. Go out, watch those movies, support, give them all your money so that,
so they can give us money.
Yeah, so it'll eventually trickle back to us.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I'm doing it.
Exactly.
It's like very selfish.
It's very selfish, but it's also...
Independently, it's great. It's great, guys.
Yeah, but it's also like, where I feel like with the Vietnamese community, at least in the artist community, like only in the past year or so, I think in LA, like they've built like a Vietnamese and entertainment group where there are people that are coming together to talk. That's never been done before. Everyone's felt like, oh, I'm alone in this battle.
Yeah.
Same with New York, where people are like, there were other Vietnamese actors. Okay, cool. So it's like, now that we know that one another exists, let's talk, let's communicate, so that we can be a strong front when we come to the table with other Asians, so that we can negotiate and talk, so that we can be like, hey, let's give us some money to do a film.
Right. I think that's the important thing, is like we have to invest in ourselves.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of Vietnamese people with money.
Yeah.
Can
you send them my way? I need some Vietnamese people with money.
I donated to Queens, so there you go.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
But yeah, like send more money to Carolina. Sống Collective needs as much money as Queens does.
Yeah, we would love the money because it's like, how do we invest in ourselves, in our community, so that we can be able to have the energy and time to invest in other communities. We gotta. That's like very much what my mom always said. I was like, Caroline, you can't go save the world if you don't have clothes on your back. I was always like, I don't care, I don't need the clothes. But now I'm like
it's a very American thing to have, like, and post refugee mentality of abundance versus lack of there. So like we're always working from a deficit. It's like, I have this. It's like I can't risk putting money into something because it's like you don't ever know what the future is.
Exactly.
Whereas if you're growing up in a capitalist Western society, it's like, oh yeah, I have disposable income. Let me just throw some money at a political candidate. Let me just throw some money at the arts. Whereas we were raised, it's like,
everything is like,
they're gonna get you.
Yeah, that's like so frivolous.
Yeah.
But I think that's something that's I'm very excited by, is that like there is a community that's growing, that's strengthening, that I can't wait to see like 10, 15 years from now, like we'll be old and we'll just be like not relevant anymore, because those kids are gonna come out straight fire.
But we're gonna be the ones with the money.
I hope so.
Yes.
I hope so.
So you punk kids better
Right?
respect us.
I hope we have the money
Yeah.
by that time, because it is exciting, because I think for so long we've been waiting for other people to give us the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
We've been waiting for Hollywood. We've been waiting for government funding to give us the money.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're getting to the point where people are making their own money,
Right.
and they have that's why Gold Open started, was that someone had the money and they were
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, let me spend this
Right.
and help.
Mhm.
But now it's like, he can't be the only person doing it. There
Right.
has to be other people. It has to continue to move on. We have to get beyond our spendthrift Asian mentality and spread the wealth.
But also, it's like you have to really invest in the culture itself.
Yeah.
And start to do things independent of how other people do things.
Yeah.
Because I think Gold Open is very much is like when black people rented out a bunch of theaters to play
Yeah.
black movies. And then white people do things all the time. It's like, well, how come white people do this, and how come we got to copy that model? It's like, no.
Yeah.
Let's focus on what Asian people do well, which
Yeah.
is everything,
Yeah.
and just do it for ourselves.
Yeah.
And when I say invest in your culture, I mean that in the exact meaning of the word invest. Sometimes you're gonna lose. You're gonna
Yeah.
take a heavy hit, and you have to be okay with that, because when it hits,
Yeah.
then it's it goes bananas. It's like we
Yeah.
can be, for every Apple there is a Huawei or an Alibaba. So
Exactly.
it's like we have our own things.
Yeah.
You just gotta invest in your own
and
things
it
and
takes
your own
time.
people.
It takes time. It
Yeah.
takes those moments of, and I think one thing that I love that Asians do is food. We do food really well, and
Mm-hmm. Right.
that's something in the New York community that is building up this younger generation of
Mm-hmm.
foodies, of restaurateurs, but also we do gatherings really well. People are gathering to eat food and share stories. That's something that the Sống Collective is really interested in. It's how do we get a bunch of people together? Why don't they bring their favorite food that they had as a kid, and let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's actually talk about it. Let's explore it
Right.
wherever it goes, and then in some way, how do we create art from it?
Right.
And that's
There's definitely an appetite for it. You
Yeah.
know, you look at the internet spaces, on Instagram and on YouTube. It's just littered
YouTube
with
is crazy. I can't keep up with YouTube.
Asian people. So there's definitely an audience and an appetite for it beyond just Asians
Yeah.
watching it for the sake of seeing an
Yeah.
Asian face. Because yes, you want to see an Asian face, but you also want to hear Asian stories. You want to hear
Yeah.
Asian opinions.
Yeah.
And you want to disagree and agree with it,
Oh,
and
yeah.
be uplifted, and then condemn it out at the same time.
Yeah, I love arguing with Asian trolls.
Yeah.
I love it. My biggest thing is I've been just arguing with other Asians about Miss Saigon.
Fascinating. Right.
Because there's been such a great. It's something like having an argument on Facebook that you can have in real life, but I feel like it needs to be moved to real life.
Yeah.
Because everyone gets into their own little Facebook bubble and they're just typing to just type, and they're not listening to one another. But there's a lot of people in the Asian artist community that are Miss Saigon is the best thing that ever happened to us because it provided work for so many talented people. I get it. I'm I get it. But also, did it move the culture forward? Did it give any of these people long-lasting career? Two of them, yeah. But what about the rest of the other people? Are they playing roles that are beyond the stereotypes? Are they able to own houses? Are they able to create their own work that speaks to the truth more? No.
Right. Because you could argue it's a thing that happened for the culture, but it's not the best thing
No.
because you don't know, there's always going to be a better thing
Yeah.
along the way. What you can do is great, but, there's always going to be
Yeah, why are we stuck in
another
time?
great. Yeah.
Why are we stuck in time? Why do we keep doing revivals?
Right.
Why do we keep doing the same old things? Because people are scared to invest in our own community.
Yeah,
Of
exactly.
hey, you're going to have, maybe for 10 years, we're going to have to tighten our belts
Right.
and not have this work or whatever. But damn it, 10 years from now, there are going to be 16 playwrights coming out, and they're going to write beautiful work. And that's what's happening now.
Yeah. For every Crazy Rich Asian, there's going to be a farewell.
Yeah.
For every Fresh Off the Boat. I don't know what Nora from Queens is going to be like, but, it looks like there's promise there.
It looks
Yeah.
like there's. I'm a little FOMO'd out. I'm why wasn't I asked to be on it? It's okay. Aquafina, hit me up. But I'm excited about that because that's
Was there no cast call for that?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
think I was doing some. I don't know. I'm not famous enough to be on the first season. I guess.
Well, see, like that's the thing. It's like all Asian people, we have to all watch Nora from Queens
Yeah.
to give it the numbers, so that
Exactly.
goddamn Hollywood will
I
greenlight
don't have
other
Comedy
projects.
Central. How do you watch it? Can you stream it?
I think you can stream it. I mean, I don't have Comedy Central either,
Yeah.
but I'll find it.
Yeah, we'll find it.
Yeah.
We just have to like.
I think you just got to tweet about it.
Yeah.
You gotta put a hashtag watching Nora from Queens.
Oh,
It's like I
gosh.
think those are the analytics and the metrics now, because I don't know if you could trust Nielsen, because
Uh-huh.
most of the things I watch I bootleg. So
That's true. So
Yeah.
then you just tweet about it and you just like.
I mean that's one way to do it.
Yeah, tell people
so
about
that people who will follow those accounts
Yeah.
can.
Because
you know,
like I know they had like Sunnyside earlier with
Joe Kim Booster.
yeah
Was that him?
yeah, and then that got moved to like streaming
Mm-hmm.
because maybe the ratings weren't there. But it's kind of like we've moved to this era where we don't watch things on TV anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We're watching things on the internet.
Yep.
So it's how do
And the
we-
things on the internet can do as well as any TV show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think they're just in a. I mean, TV is in a weird place where now they don't know what to do. They're like, okay, we're not having as many screens as before. There's also so much more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How are we trying to monetize through ad dollars,
Mm-hmm.
which they're still figuring out? And then there's like Hulu and Netflix that have like blown it all to shit.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I'm excited about Nora from Queens. I am. I'm like, I want her to maybe address like how she's like copied and co-opted black culture.
Oh, hilarious! Let's talk about that.
Okay.
All right, because I have a very different take about that.
Okay.
All right. So, I don't like you've heard the argument that she just grew up in Queens and that's how people in Queens talk.
Yeah.
And so she's just you speak the way you're spoken to.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's happening. I don't think
Uh-huh.
she's necessarily co-opting black culture.
Yeah.
It makes her a little bit more, for the lack of a better word, cool.
Definitely. Yeah.
Just because she like other audiences can pick up on
The
like they know what cool is. Black people are cool. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, this girl is adjacent to blackness. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like if she was an Iggy Azalea type
Yeah.
of person, it's like this is not genuine. Then
Yeah,
I
so-
think she
yeah.
would have been like they would have called her out on that a long time ago.
But she's kind of like stopped talking like that recently. I mean, I feel like in the interview she's like started.
Yeah, because of code switching.
Yeah.
You're on an interview. You're
Yeah.
gonna talk a little differently. But I think on off script, she speaks much differently.
Maybe. Yeah.
I'm pretty confident about it. Like if you follow her career trajectory, like like it's a fascinating career trajectory, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, she
Yeah.
did my vag.
Yeah.
I know.
From all that, from my vag, she got all that.
Yeah.
She got a fucking Golden Globe from from my vag.
Yeah.
So that's impressive. But like, I don't know if she's like ever stopped being who she is.
Yeah,
Like,
I
I
guess
think if you're
that's
just
something
cherry
that I
picking
hope.
certain interviews where she's not being herself, and she's like, and you have to like look at who's doing the interviewing.
That's true. Yeah.
Again, you speak the way you're spoken to.
Yeah.
So it's like a corny white person's talking to you, then you're gonna mimic, like you're gonna speak in a way that person's gonna understand you. But if someone of her, like one of her peers, speaks to
Yeah.
her, I'm pretty confident that you're gonna get the Aquafina that you're more comfortable
Yeah.
with. But it asks a bigger question in that, what is an Asian person? What is an Asian person supposed to sound
Yeah.
like?
That's something.
Because growing up is, I don't know if you encountered this, but like, hey, you speak white.
Yeah.
Okay, so like if I can't speak white, because that's being a sellout, and if you speak with a black vernacular,
Yeah.
you're being appropriator, then what does that lead you? It's like, are you supposed to speak
Yeah, I
with a
guess
Bobbish
that's-
accent?
Yeah, I guess that's like
but
trying
that's
to,
not,
I guess that's something that I'm thinking about of like what is Asian American identity?
Yeah.
Because I feel like now I speak like a little valley girl, or when I'm in like a theater setting, everything is more crisp, things. And then when I go back home, I mean, like to certain friends, I do. It's like code switching constantly.
so
But-
like with Asian, like I say, Asian activists, it's like, yeah, you're good at pointing out like, this is wrong, allyship. Okay, well, let us know what to do.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I don't have any answers for that.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, then. I mean, good.
Yeah.
You got your article off, and you do make valid points, absolutely. But it's like, where do we go from here? What's the next step? It's like, what is an Asian American person supposed to do?
Yeah, I think it's maybe, I think maybe my thought of that was that we just don't have another Aquafina, or we don't have another person representing us. Like, it feels like with Asian women in Hollywood, there's like one at a time.
Right.
It's kind of like we've moved past the Constance Wu now. She's no longer the it girl. It's Aquafina. And we can't have more than like one at a time. So then we have nothing to bounce off of.
I think that's a very myopic kind of view, because there are a lot. If you want to find them, right? Because you have, like, you just listed a bunch of them earlier.
Yeah,
right?
I do. But it's like, in terms of like the golden girl for Hollywood, they only allow, it feels like they only allow one, when there are so many. But the people that are getting the PR, the like award, and getting all the roles, because like Aquafina's doing like 6 different movies in the past year, which is so fucking great for her. But it's like, okay, cool. At what point do we not just like find another Aquafina clone,
right,
and open the market up so that more people can do it?
Right. And like, it just circles back to like, it's upon us to invest in everybody. Like, you know, who's like, I only have so many dollars to invest, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But it is upon us. So it's like, if you like, there is that woman from Black Lightning. There's still Olivia Munn floating around doing whatever she's doing. There is Ali Wong. There is, you know, Constance Wu. So it's upon you to go out and seek it. And then when you look at it, it's like, oh, okay, there is a lot. Because like, you were having a conversation with my girlfriend before we started recording, talking about how like you didn't grow up with a lot of Asian like media.
Yeah.
For me, like, I had a little different. Like, yes, I didn't have a lot of Asian American media growing up, but my mom would go to Asian video stores and she would rent those old Vietnamese dubbed Chinese movies.
Exactly.
So like, for me, it's like I spent my childhood with American media, but I was also watching like Chinese media or Asian media too. So it's like, I didn't have that. I didn't feel like deprived of that, you know, because like, oh, look, this is a movie, this is a TV show. It's like, now you guys all don't know what I'm talking about, but it's like, I'm seeing other people doing this stuff.
Yeah. I think that's something where, I guess, it depends on where you grew up or what kind of representation, because it's something where I think I grew up with that too, those like Chinese movies. But I think people, I think going back to it's like, I didn't grow up with the Asian American identity, like what it means to be someone growing up here.
Yes, right. Now, like,
which is very new.
You make a valid point. It's like, it's kind of what kind of representation you want.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like, if you're looking for Hollywood Asian American representation, then yes, you have a very strong point that they only choose one at a time. But if you're looking for just Asian American or Asian representation in Asian media, then
there's a lot.
It's bountiful. Like, you have a whole continent full of it.
Yeah.
But like, we don't value that the same as Hollywood. We still give Hollywood this power over to dictate what it is.
Oh, do you think maybe it's because, you know, more than ever we're realizing there's a difference between Asian and then Asian American? Because now it's kind of like, it's a different identity in a way of like growing up in mainland China or Vietnam is different from like growing up here. We have like we feel like we're different. We have this American part of us.
Okay, so bigger kind of thing to talk about, because I have strong feelings about that as well.
Yeah.
Like, to me,
talk to me.
I'm only going to speak about Vietnamese culture specifically. Like, to me, there's no difference. It's all part of, like, Vietnamese is a people. It's not a country.
Yeah.
Because if you want to look at it in the map, right? So you have Vietnam itself. The country itself is very diverse in terms of climate and tropics and conditions. So you have Vietnamese people in the north and Vietnamese people in the south. Historically different, but very Vietnamese in the same way. A person in the north will look at a person in the south as, yeah, you're Vietnamese, but you know, I'm more Vietnamese. Yeah. Like, it goes both ways. And then the people in the center is like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? Yeah. You guys are all crazy.
And then we're like, we don't understand.
Yeah, your accent is so goofy. It's like, I don't even know how you derived that from me. All right, so you have Vietnamese people who live in mountains, like where it
Yeah.
snows, but then you also have people living in the jungles where it's hot as fuck. And those people live very different lifestyle, but they're all still Vietnamese.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can't just use this border that was drawn up arbitrarily
That's
to
true,
determine like who is Vietnamese. And now, so you have people, because of the diaspora, you have Vietnamese people in France, Vietnamese people in Mexico, in America, but they're all still Vietnamese. The way
Yeah.
now people in Vietnam can point to you and it's like you're different, but like the same way you're pointing at each other
Yeah,
saying you're different.
different, yeah.
So like that's just how I view Vietnam
Yeah, I think
in a global
well, yeah.
perspective. We're a people. So just because there's this arbitrary line drawn in on a map that can change at any point, it's like you can't use that as a
Yeah.
qualifier to say what is and what isn't. Yes, we're very different, but we
Yeah.
all contribute to the grand story
Yeah.
of what it means to be a Vietnamese person.
Well, I think that needs to be more highlighted. Is that we are contributing to the grand story of what makes a Vietnamese person, because we've there's an offshoot now because people left and there's literally half of the population
Right.
has gone, and we're creating our own identity
Yeah.
that is separate from what is mainland Vietnam, but we're still Vietnamese in our way.
But like I wouldn't necessarily say it's separate. I would just say
Really?
we're just contributing to like the story. Like if you're writing the story of the Vietnamese people, right? So you have Vietnamese people in other parts of the world doing things that you couldn't have done in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Like I'm a stand-up comedian, right? I'm not the first Vietnamese stand-up comedian, but like if there was never a Vietnamese person in America, then there would have never been
Yeah.
a Vietnamese stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
So like if you're writing the stories, like Vietnamese people are doctors, lawyers, farmers, engineers,
Yeah.
bakers. You add Vietnamese
Yeah.
stand-up comedian. So like you're all contributing to that
Yeah.
story,
I
and
guess
whether or
in
not
some
you
way-
value that story,
Yeah.
that's upon you itself.
Yeah.
But like for me, it's like I see everybody as part of this.
Yeah.
I
feel like
grander
it's
tapestry.
a lot of like, I think a lot of people are trying to still make that line less of a line, because there's still so much animosity between, like, I know a lot of kids who are like, oh, I'm Vietnamese American, like, because I'm not that, because it's
Yeah.
from the whole,
It's
war
all
and
just
everything.
like
Yeah.
coping mechanisms.
Yeah,
so
but
it's
I
like
think there is so much more. Like, I've been like, I think it's like taking that first step to go back to Vietnam, to really feel like, oh, you're part of this community, you're part of this culture too, even if because it is very much like a motherland. It's the blood. It's in the blood.
Yeah, I mean
Like,
it's where it's all started.
yeah. And it's like realizing that, okay, we can, like you were saying, like we can do things that the Vietnamese in Vietnam can't do.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much censorship,
Right.
and there's like when they come over here to learn, they're like their minds are blown.
Yeah.
And so are ours when we go over there.
Right.
And there's some, like, I think in the next, like, trying to figure out how we can all learn from each other.
Yeah.
Because I think my line of thinking has shifted, like, in the past 10 years of thinking, like, it used to feel like, oh, I can't ever come back. That's not my world. That's not a place I can be. And now realizing more than ever, oh, wait a minute, I can go back and forth. I can do that. It is a possibility. Just because my parents left doesn't mean I have to cut myself off
Right.
from
Yeah.
this world. But I think it's realizing that, hey, we can come back. There's always something that can be done.
Yeah, and for like Vietnam wants you to come back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because like in terms of like citizenship, it's like there's a pathway. Like if you ever want to go back to Vietnam and be a Vietnamese citizen, like there's a pathway. It's like just prove your parents are Vietnamese.
Bring your like BMWs
Yeah.
back,
Yeah.
do all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And when I
Are you gonna get Vietnamese citizenship?
I want to retire in Vietnam because it's like it feels like an easier life. Just spend the rest of my golden years drinking coffee all day.
Yeah, it's a great place to retire. I mean, but you have to get a plot of land. You got to do it now because they're developing it.
I'll be fine. That's a very Vietnamese man mentality on my side. I'll figure it out. One day.
You won't, and I'm like, no, you won't. They're selling the land.
It's like my kids will buy me land. Don't you worry.
I know. I need to start buying land. I need to buy that land.
Nah, you gotta bribe the person to, like, that's what you really need to buy.
Yeah.
Is a person.
Yeah.
Because land, that like everything in Vietnam, because of the way the government's structured, you really need to, like, you can't just buy the land. You have to buy the person to
Yes,
sign
they
off on the
don't.
land.
Yeah, and you can't really buy an apartment in Saigon anymore. It's so expensive, and unless you're part of the family, because it gets passed down.
Yeah.
And everyone's Airbnb-ing their apartments, which is great. But it's like, why are you charging American prices right now? You know it. You know it. God damn it. You know it.
It's because all those Americans keep going and vlogging about it. Stop it.
know.
Censorship.
I know.
Take away their cameras.
I love seeing Americans in Vietnam because they're so funny
I hate it.
and stupid looking. I just think they're funny because they're like, because someone told them like haggling is a good fun thing to do. And then I'm like, yeah, but you're haggling for literally half a penny just to show that you can. Like, this person should charge you more. You should be charged a tourist tax.
Yeah.
And I tell like the old ladies, just charge him more. He won't know the difference. He won't know the difference. Because it's like, come on, they're benefiting from your country, and you can be making more money than you are right now.
Yeah. Like I was told that people were gonna rip me off. It's like, but like, what you're saying is like, but it's like they're taking me for a $2 ride. It's like, let them have it.
Yeah, let them bug it. I do not need that $2.
Right.
Like, if I have the money to be traveling, I have the money to help this.
Yeah, it's not like you're investing in the art. You're investing in a person's like livelihood. Let them have it.
And I mean, Vietnam right now is still very terrible. Like, it seems wealthier than ever.
But the wealth is like very concentrated into like just the rich people.
Yeah, whenever I was there, I like try to just hang out with like my family, the locals, and I met this family where they were so nice to us, and like they like gave us food and yelled with us. But then one of his friends came and he like was limping, and we were like, why is he limping? And he goes, oh, because the police beat him.
Yeah.
You know, also you have to pay all this, like school is free, but it doesn't really matter because the classes aren't great, so you have to pay for all these outside classes, like a few hundred, you know, which to us is like, oh, really? A few hundred for school? But for people, like, that's a lot of money that they can't afford to do. And if they don't have like the paperwork, and so a lot of the wealth has just been excluded. Like, a lot of the population can't have any of that. And yet the PR with Vietnam is that Vietnam is doing so well. Please come, tourists. So it's like, then spend the money with the people that are working there because they need the money. Because right now they're still struggling as much as before. It just seems nicer because there aren't bombs going off.
Yeah, and it's like Vietnamese tourism. It's so cheap.
Yeah. And it's like, no, you should be charging more. You should.
Well, I'm pretty sure they do. So yeah,
of course. But I'm like, you could be charging more. Like this, like, you know, an Uber, like my Grab driver is like, he goes charges this, and it's like literally like $1, and like, here, you should be charging more. Like, really, charge more. Please.
But not to people who look like us.
Yeah, not
that
to
guy,
me,
that guy.
but to that guy.
Yeah,
but
that
also
guy.
charge me too. Like, it's fine. Like, I'm cool. I'm fine with that.
No, don't
because-
charge me. I'll give you the money out of honesty, but like charge him more.
Like, you see that white
Hurt
guy?
him a little bit.
You see him?
Yeah.
See that backpack?
Yeah.
That's a leather backpack. That's like, that's Gucci. Get him.
It's like, no. Just because he looks poor doesn't mean he is poor. He's here right now for a reason.
Exactly.
All right? That's just how they dress to
Dude,
trick
like,
you.
now there's like all these like, what do they call like the fucking people that beg for money to travel? Like those people, and I'm like, I hate them. I hate them so much. I just want to kick them when I walk by. I'm like, why are you, really? You didn't budget for this? Are you kidding me? I hate you.
They're like, oh, don't worry, it'll work itself out.
Yeah, some poor person will come and like help me, and it's like, yeah, no, this person is selling lottery tickets to feed their family, and they don't even make that much money for lottery tickets.
And even if they hit the lottery, it's like, you know, they're gonna get taxed on it.
Yeah, it's a very corrupt system. I mean, I know a lot of people that are like trying to defect, but it's also like, think about all the people that manage to come here for school. You have to have a certain amount of money in your bank account. You have to have some connections.
And plus, it's like Vietnam doesn't let people leave. That's like something no one ever talks about, because my cousins, I met him 3 or 4 years ago, and like his wife just got married. It's like, hey, how come you guys never tried to visit us? It's like, oh, the Vietnamese government won't let us. It's like, if they see two young people trying to visit America, they're afraid that you're gonna love America so much you'll never come back.
Exactly, unless you have like a lot of money or a lot of property that you're like afraid to
or just connections.
lose. I mean, that's such a crazy thing where, like, for my family, because of their political leanings, like, my family is still fucked over. Like it's almost 40 years. Like my cousins could not go to college. They did not allow that to happen. I think we're still being monitored, and my cousins can't do anything, like they can't protest. And I was like, and my cousins were trying to start a little protest because China was trying to lease the land for like 99 years, and my cousins were like, oh, we're going to take our trucks to block off the roads. I'm like, can you guys please not do that? Out of anyone in Vietnam, our family should just not, because you do that, and that's going to destroy another 2 generations of our family that's fucked over because of what my mom and your dad did. Like now my family's slowly moving up through the the bootstraps and all the smart women they married. But it's things like, Jesus Christ, like we cannot protest, we cannot say, I should not be saying these things, or I should change my name or whatever, because it does come back, and there's such an like people are filming in Vietnam, and they're just things you can't say, there are things you cannot do, and it's kind of stifling how these people talk about the culture.
Have your parents been back?
No.
Are they allowed back?
They are. I mean, yeah, I guess.
Do they want to go back?
No, my mom does. I think she still thinks about it. She wished she went back for her dad's funeral and all that stuff. And her family's all there. My dad's family all came here. He doesn't talk to his family. He's literally like...
obviously.
Yeah, he's very isolated.
It's like regardless of how many of them he has, he's not talking to any of them.
He's not. I mean, he's like the 8th out of 10 kids. My mom's like the 8th out of like 12 kids. My dad does not talk to any of them. None of them. None of them are... So my mom wants to go back, I think. I would love her to go back to Vietnam and retire. Like, she's literally on Skype with her brother every day. They talk for hours, or they just like sit in each other's company by the phone. Which is really
have they ever visited here?
My uncle did.
Oh, okay.
He managed to. I don't know how he did that. He had to go through like he got a visa for like 6 months. And he had to put like the property on the thing. He had to go through like this hours-long interview process of like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna say? Who are you gonna go there? And all this stuff. His daughter-in-law has managed to come over and visit because she works for like this manufacturing company, and so she can like travel. Okay. She's got like really great mobility. Everyone else no.
Yeah. Because that's something underappreciated is mobility.
Yeah.
Just freely moving wherever you want to go.
Yeah. I mean, that's something in Vietnam that you can't really do. I think you can go to other countries in Vietnam, in Asia, maybe, but that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money that I feel like a lot of people don't have because they kind of like don't really, like they're spending as they make it because they're not making enough to save, which is very something like you're talking about here in New York too.
I will say, like when I was in Korea and in Japan, I did hear a lot of people speak Vietnamese, so it's like there is a little bit more Vietnamese tourism, which is nice. Yeah,
I think it's the younger generation that are now working different jobs that are able to like leave, but I think a lot of the older generation can't, because I feel like a lot of Vietnam was still countryside and you're still like working to make ends meet. There's not that, and I think now it's more accessible. Like now there's a plane that flies from like Saigon to Dalat in an hour. That things that wasn't there literally 10 years ago.
There's Vietnam Air now.
That's
which is pretty
fun.
Sweet.
That's fun.
All right, let's talk about Queen the series real quick.
Yeah.
All right. So, how did you get involved? Did you have to audition?
I did.
Did you already know Cindy?
Yeah, I had to audition for it, and I guess I did really well, so I booked it. And then she filmed the pilot episode that was literally on like a $5,000 budget. So you see it. And then we just fundraised, I think, 15 to do the second episode, which right now is in post-production.
Nice.
So I'm excited to see the...
I want to give the people a quick synopsis of what Queens the series is.
So Queens is about these Queens is about like these 3 best friends who were all born and raised in Queens. And they're all very different people. They're kind of like the antithesis of like what a successful Asian American life is supposed to be like. They're all still struggling. They're all still like
Bad Asians.
yeah, they're like
cross-branding.
they're like the bad Asians. They're still trying to figure out their careers, going back to school. They're all like in their late to mid 20s, and they still haven't made it. And it starts out where Cindy's character Sarah finds out that her fiance is gay, and so that kind of sets things up into the motion where she has to move out, and so now she has to live with her best friends who are all going through their own lives that are a mess. And it's really funny. A lot of funny things happen, a lot of awkward things happen that they have to deal with, and it's really about like how strong these three women's relationships are with one another.
What was the audition process like? And did you go for your character specifically?
No, I went in for Spring's character, which is which she had to speak Spanish and English, and I was like, no, and I was like, ooh, I can't speak Spanish to save my life. And so I was like, oh, this is going to be a bad thing. And they were like, hey, have you thought about reading for this character, for Gia? And I thought, yeah, I haven't thought about it. I never usually get to play like the airy, fun, dumb characters who are really smart. And so I did that, and they really liked me and gave me the offer.
How close are you to that character? Was it hard to channel her?
No, I think I have that side in me where I think me in general, I'm usually very pragmatic, but there are those moments where I'm like, you know what? I mean, yeah, let's do some Crystal. Like, I'll do whatever will make things feel like they're gonna work, you know. And I think I have a very positive outlook in the world, like Gia does, and also that feeling of like, I think Gia has this thing that is undercurrent. So like she is always like, oh, I'm so bubbly, nothing's really messing with my life, but really things are. And I think I have that like undercurrent of the neurotic of like, oh my gosh, I am this age right now, and why am I what did I do,
right?
You know.
Yeah.
So I like it. I like her character a lot. She gets to do really fun things.
Go check it out, and then continue to support them financially. But buy merch. They have a dope hoodie.
Oh yeah, we have
I can't
merch.
afford the hoodie right now, but
I can't
it's
either.
nice.
I can't afford the hoodie either.
Okay. Last thing I want to talk to you about. That's coming up.
What?
That's coming up.
Oh yeah, it is.
That's the Lunar New Year.
I sent my my kitchen god up.
Oh, nice.
I only learned through like subtle Viet traits. Like Jesus Christ, subtle Viet traits is making me remember so many things I'd forgotten.
Is that the Facebook group?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a Facebook group, and sometimes they post like things like, you know, memes. But then sometimes they post really fun things that you're learning about like Viet culture. And,
Yeah.
like, you know, you're like, oh wow, I'd forgotten about that. And so like, I think it was Sunday or Monday. No, Sunday. No, what's today? Saturday. It was Saturday, and it was like a week before that is when the kitchen god goes back up to the emperor on a carp, and he reports about like your kitchen doings.
Yeah.
And then I found that, and I was like, oh my god, I'm late. Oh my god, I don't have fish. Oh my god, what am I gonna do? And so I just lit incense and like gave the man, the god, and I felt so like stupid. I was like, Carolina, what are you doing? This pagan ritual, what's happening? But I like gave him a pomegranate and some apples and some tequila.
So yeah, my mom used to just crack a Budweiser.
It's like bribing him for good luck.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, I do need all the good luck I can. I was bad this year, but next year you're
Did
gonna
you sweep out all the bad luck? Because you're supposed to like clean the house.
Was I supposed to?
You're supposed to. Well, that you still have a week.
Okay, so I can clean before that.
Yeah.
Okay, but I can't clean on that.
You can't clean on that.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna do
whatever
that.
luck is on you on that day, that's gonna be the luck you have for the
Yeah.
rest of the.
Yeah, so I'm definitely not
Yeah.
cleaning anything. I feel like that's a myth that like Asian moms did, Vietnamese moms did, so like they wouldn't have to clean on that day. They're like, look, this is the one day of the year where I don't have to do it.
Yeah.
It's the bad luck that
Yeah,
you're gonna
yeah,
have to sweep
yeah.
away. You know, I get it.
Right.
It's the scam.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was gonna throw. The Sống Collective. We were gonna throw like a that party, but we just never got our lives together. And it's really early this year. Usually it's like in February.
Wait, yeah, it's like a week before February, or it's
No, usually it's like in February. It's usually later than this. This is the earliest I have recognized that, I think.
Yeah. It always, yeah. I mean, it varies. Yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes it could be like the 13th of
Exactly.
February, but what is
So
it, the 24th?
Yeah.
The 25th?
25th.
Yeah.
So this year, I'm throwing a potluck at my place 2 days after.
Okay, that's cute.
Yeah. If you guys are invited if you want to come.
I'm going to be in the Bay.
Oh. With all the other Asians
Yeah.
having all the firecrackers.
Firecrackers.
The dragon dance.
Yeah.
I gotta get a dragon to like jump on me for good luck. I'm trying to get all that good
Do you
luck.
remember all the, did you do all the things growing up? Like all the rituals and stuff? Like do you remember cleaning the house? Do you remember your parents saying, you can't do this, you can't do that?
Yeah, I remember getting a little broom.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I think it was like such a little scam to get me to work. Like I had like my mom gave me like a little broom, you know, like little like straw brooms and the little red dustpan. I was like, go clean. Such a scam! Oh my god, these people.
But they gave you money.
Oh yeah.
So that's not a scam.
God. I got so much money. They would like literally pimp me out to like other family members.
Can you recall what the biggest haul you ever got, and then what did you spend it on?
Oh, I got hundreds, man. I was beloved.
Yeah.
I
Did
didn't
they take you from house to house?
No, when I was a kid, when I was still cute and like had little pigtails, and my mom still like hung out with people. They would they would go to like this huge concert. They would be like this big gathering, and there would be a huge buffet, and then all the people gave the little leases, and some of them would get like $1 or $2. But my mommy always gave me like a couple hundred.
Wow.
And then she would take it away.
She's like, I'm saving it for you.
Yeah, she did. She took it away and saved it for me.
Saved it in a roundabout. Cool.
Yeah. Oh my God. We used to play that game, and then I got ejected from it. They did not let me ever play it again.
Who?
My parents.
Why?
They were playing with me,
Yeah.
and I remember like I had a stack of like ones. Like I think I was winning.
Yeah.
And then I lost it all somehow on something, and I lost my shit. I started crying. I couldn't deal with it. I was like, "But I want my money back." And then my parents were like, "You can't. You were not getting this money back.
Yeah.
You lost it, and also you can't play this game ever again."
Obviously, you can't handle losing.
No, but the thing is, they wouldn't even give me the money back. Like after the game was over.
Wait, were you playing with your parents?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know I don't know who gave me the seed money. Probably them.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't get any of the money. They took the money away. Like I remember, I had this like nice.
No, you lost the money.
No, I think they took it away. Like to this day, I'm like, I still remember like sitting on the floor and like feeling like I won and it was great. And then the next minute, I remembered I was just crying because the stack of like ones were taken away from me. So I don't know. To this day, my mom was like, "You lost." And
Yeah.
but I don't think I did.
Okay.
I don't think I lost.
Scammers.
Yeah, like I don't think I would have put that much money in.
Oh, I see.
You know,
Yeah,
things like
yeah.
that. Like they fucking scammed me.
Okay.
So I think that's what I remember.
Have you
no.
played to this day?
No.
Oh, wow.
They have not let me. I mean, I don't think I'm good in games. I'm just not meant to be with like money.
It's not that hard of a game. You just pick the picture.
I know, but I think I get really like attached to things. Like I can't play Monopoly anymore. I'm not allowed to play Monopoly or Scrabble. I just get really competitive.
I see.
I get it. I see why.
Okay.
Maybe I did lose all that money.
I think you did. Because Vietnamese people love gambling.
I know. Oh yeah. Hennessy too. I'm trying to get a Hennessy sponsor.
Good. Privilege.
Trying to get them because you know Vietnamese people love Hennessy.
We sure do.
You know
Yeah.
why? I did the Google. You know?
Colonialism.
Yeah, colonialism.
It's always colonialism.
You know? But it's like, look, you know, there's so many Vietnamese people that buy your Hennessy. Hennessy, why don't you sponsor us?
I also see like a generational gap too. It's like, okay, who is about the culture?
Yeah.
This is like, there's Vietnamese people who love Hennessy, and then there's Vietnamese people who don't. And I was like, so sad.
Why don't they love Hennessy? I mean, Hennessy's not like.
It's a rough drink,
Yeah.
unless it's privilege. But it's a rough drink.
I know, yeah, you don't
So
like.
people's like, I want to shoot Jameson. It's like, you haven't practiced yet.
Yeah, like you like Hennessy is, it's acquired taste, but it's part of the culture. It's
Yeah.
like Mo Pai Ba, you take that shot, motherfucker. Like, yeah, it's not smooth, it's not great unless
No.
you get the VSOP.
Yeah.
But then that's like another.
It's so much money
Yeah.
for very little.
What other traditions do I remember?
Did you remember you can't wear black?
No.
Okay.
You have to get something new.
You have to
and
get
red.
something new and red.
Yeah, so I need to go buy myself something new in red.
Did you ever go to like temple?
Yeah.
Okay.
But then we stopped going to temple because there was the buffet,
I see.
and then all these people brought in their trays, and they took all the food, and we didn't get any of the food.
Would you light the firecrackers at your house?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that did not go out well with our neighbors.
Yeah.
They thought it was some gunshots.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
We were like, is this different from any other day, y'all? Like, come on. Just because it's in succession, it's fine.
Yeah, it's like y'all just jealous because you're going to get bad luck.
I know. Yeah, I need to do that. I mean, there's no way I can find firecrackers in New York City, can I?
Chinatown, what are you talking about?
Yeah, but there's no way I'm lighting it in Bed-Stuy.
Oh.
No, like...
I guess not.
You know, like,
not if you live in an apartment.
there are things like you cannot do anymore. Not in Bed-Stuy, no.
Boring.
No. Damn it.
You can download a firecracker app.
Oh, that's so lame. That's so lame. I just want to.
You want these bad spirits or not?
Yeah, but I'm just gonna go like set fireworks out in like Chinatown.
Okay.
You know.
No, it's gonna follow you to Bed-Stuy though. You have to scare it away from where you live. That's how it works.
Oh, see, I forgot about that.
Or you can do a
You're
dragon
right.
dance outside your apartment building.
But then I need to get a dragon.
Again, maybe a nap.
There's like this little video of like this little puppy dressed up as a little dragon.
Oh yeah, my sister did that.
Really?
She wasn't the one who did that, but I showed her the video, and then she bought a puppet, and then she just modified the puppet into a costume.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's pretty cute.
That's so cute.
Yeah, the dog didn't like it, but it's pretty
course
cute.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm slowly reclaiming my like Vietnamese that heritage.
Yeah, I think the further you get away with it, the more nostalgic you become for it.
Yeah.
It's like, why did I distance myself so much? Say, because
Yeah.
of American
Exactly.
colonialism.
I mean, this is the first year I sent I bribed the kitchen god.
Yeah.
You know, next year I'm going hard.
I mean, well,
Next year I'm
you
like-
gotta evaluate how well you did. It's like,
That's true.
did the kitchen god acknowledge the bribe and then give you great
That's true.
fortunes?
So
But
it's
then
like-
you have to like the price just goes up every year.
That's true. I mean, I heard people were like giving him BMWs
Yeah.
and laptops and
Did you
stuff.
ever do that thing where like to commemorate like the passing of like a family member, you burn ghost paper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like-
I tried to take some of the ghost paper.
Why?
I don't know. I just was like, this is money, right? And my mom was like, that's for dead people, Caroline. I'm
Yeah.
like, so they don't need it.
Like, do you like?
We burnt cars.
Yeah,
Like the little
so like the
cars.
ghost paper has gotten elaborate over
Yeah.
the years.
Oh, yeah.
I just remember like one year, ghost paper, like just random paper, and then like things that, like
Yeah,
now
like
there's
it-
like little clothes, and
Oh,
then
yeah?
little iPads, and then like
Oh, I haven't seen the little iPads.
the little iPads.
Oh, because they need to use the iPads.
Of course, yeah.
Wow.
And then there's cars, and then there's houses. So in Chinatown, I walk by, and there's like a whole dollhouse you
Yeah.
can burn, and there's like two Indian servants
Oh my
protecting the house
God.
that you can give to your ancestors, and they can have two Indian servants
Oh my
with them.
god. Oh my god.
It's pretty sweet.
I love. Oh my god, I love their thinking of that.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, I need to burn some iPads for my grandfather.
I'm pretty sure he appreciated it.
Yeah, or like a manual to how to use an iPad.
No.
Or maybe they know it back
Mm-hmm.
then. Did your mom ever tell you, like, if you didn't finish all the rice,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have to eat them all as maggots in hell?
Something to that effect. I also heard that for every grain of rice you leave in your bowl, that's how many years before you'll find a husband.
Oh,
For
that's,
women.
Wow, that's rough. My mom was just like maggots in hell.
Because we didn't really have a concept of hell growing up.
Oh, my mom was like, "This is hell.
Yeah.
This is what hell is,
Yeah.
and you're going to it. There's no heaven for you."
Yeah, she never threatened us with like eternal damnation because we again like that's not a concept that we were like she had, so she wouldn't impart that upon
Yeah.
us. So it was more like like shitty things would happen to you on the earthly planes. So it's bad luck.
Yeah.
No, for if you're a girl, no husband. If you're a guy,
No wife.
no, that was never really.
They never threatened that.
No, why would they? Boy privilege.
I know. They're like
Patriarchy.
They're like, this boy needs a wife. He needs it to survive this world.
Yeah, I was like, I never had a concern about finding a wife growing up. Not even a little bit.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's like she didn't even like raise me. It's like you're gonna like like moms don't even raise boys to be good husbands.
No.
But they raise girls to be good wives
Yeah.
and home takers.
They raise like boys to be like good sons because they're like, you're gonna take care of me.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or,
That's
you
a
know,
real thing.
I'm
yeah.
the most important woman in your life.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Don't
That's real.
Don't bring another bitch into my house.
Exactly, that is real. But like, she never gave me the tools. Like, you're gonna be a good person to other people.
Yeah.
It's like, no, no, no.
So how did you become a good person? Are you a good person?
I'm pretty great. I think it's a combination of self-awareness and just cherry picking good aspects of various cultures.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also like a fear of just growing up terrified of the world.
Yeah, of course. I mean, how did your parents react when you were saying that you were going to be a comedian?
They were fine with it.
Really?
Like, they love me. Very
Are
supportive.
you the oldest son?
I'm the oldest son. Yeah.
And do you have other sons? Are there other sons?
My mom has I have a younger brother, not of my dad.
Uh-huh.
She has a, yeah. So I have a younger brother.
Uh-huh.
So
Is he a doctor?
he went to Berkeley.
Okay.
He's not a doctor.
Lawyer somewhere?
No, he went to Berkeley, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Of
that's like-
itself.
That's it.
Because I didn't finish college. My older sister didn't bother. My younger sister finished college. So, I mean, you know, she's not really concerned with us because
Yeah.
we're all good people.
Wow.
But she worries about us because, you know, we're
Yeah.
not doctors. Like, we're not
Exactly.
rolling in money. So
Yeah.
she's concerned with us in that regard. But, like, my mom, she doesn't call me, it's like, you know, like, she's like, she calls and asks, like, if I'm eating
Yeah, that's
well.
Yeah.
Not if I'm eating, but, like, if am I eating well? It's like, who cooks for you? It's like, I do.
Yeah.
It's like, you've seen me cook. I know how to
I
fend
know.
for myself.
My mom's really worried that because I don't really cook anymore. I don't have time. So now that I have like a partner, a husband that I have to take care of, she's like, "Are you cooking for him?" And I'm like, "He's fine. He's cooking on his own. Like he's cooking for me. We're changing the dynamics of this household."
But you should also cook for yourself.
I should. I mean, I do.
Does he cook Vietnamese food?
He's working on it. He's like, well,
That doesn't sound
no. He's
Like
been doing
he does.
kombucha.
even close.
I do. I just haven't. I'm like having those hankerings of like, oh, I miss this meal, this food. So I'm gonna cook for myself. I mean, I think I'm using the potluck as a excuse to like cook a lot.
Do you have an Instapot?
No.
You should get an Instapot.
I know. I hear that's a great thing. I just got an air fryer.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it changed my life.
You know, as we
It's
grow,
like, yeah.
as we grow older, it's like all these kitchen appliances is like what you're.
Dude, yeah, my mom has been trying to get me to get an air fryer for like 5 years,
Yeah.
and I've been like, no, and then there's the Cyber Monday sale, and I was like, oh, an air fryer,
Yeah.
cheap. And then now it's changed my life. You can put a chicken in it.
Yeah.
You just do whatever it is, and you walk away.
Yeah,
And
we
I'm-
just don't have the space for it in our place,
Yeah.
but
It's like a little spaceship. It's like a blue little pod.
yeah. Well, there's like I think there's it's not the Instapot, but it's like a knockoff.
A crock pot?
No, it's like it's
Oh wait,
the competing.
it's the steaming one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's scary.
So there's the Instapot that there's a brand that competes with it that also comes with an air fryer.
so you have to get that.
Yeah, but it's not as good.
Oh, okay.
But so you want because with the Instapot, my sister has it, and you can make fun like an hour.
I heard that. Yeah.
or
with
you can make
oxtail.
the oxtail. You can also make what's that one with the egg and the pork belly? Bal kha.
Oh
no, that's different.
Tet ka.
Tit kha, yeah.
Yeah.
But you can also make bal kha.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
haven't made bak in so long.
You should.
I love.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
But you can make it like in an hour.
That's so, you guys just throw it in there and just walk away.
Right. And there's a bunch of YouTube tutorials on how to do it.
Okay, maybe I need an instant.
Now,
pot.
the hardest part, because you live in Brooklyn, is getting the ingredients.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest pain in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, I might just stop after this and get some stuff from Chinatown.
But the biggest pain in the ass is like the quality of the produce in New York is so shitty that by the
Yeah.
time you get it home, it's already
No.
terrible.
Like I've been trying. I was like trying to track down culantro for like days. And I was like, where is this place? But for me, my favorite dish is koa, like the bitter melon soup.
Yeah.
So I love.
It's weird that people don't like. I
hate
used to.
people that don't like it.
I didn't like it as a kid because bitter is not
Yeah.
like a flavor that agrees with kids. But I just used to eat the soup and then the little
Meat.
meat thing in
Yeah.
the middle.
My mom
It's
was
like, why do you even bother with this melon part?
Why is this shell here?
Yeah.
I know.
But when I got older, it's like, oh, okay, this all makes sense now.
Yeah, it all
balances,
makes sense.
yeah.
Like it's like such a great balance
Yeah.
of bitter, sweet, savory,
Right.
and that's what I always crave.
Yeah.
You know.
So I haven't had that in a while.
Yeah, I make really good ones. Like I make like a huge pot of it.
Where do you find the melon?
Somewhere in Chinatown,
Okay.
but it's only like during the summer.
Uh-huh.
So like during the summer, I just like try to find that old lady because the best way to find things in produce, like in New York, in Chinatown, is follow an old lady. So yeah, you know, like just follow and just like, okay, that's, and there's like bitter melon, like the big ones. Because the summertime is the best time. Because winter time, you know, I don't know, maybe you can't
Not
find
in
them.
season.
You're not in season, and so, yeah. But I don't make pho because I don't like pho.
That's fine.
You know.
Yeah.
I just like, I'm like,
Yeah.
I like bún riêu.
Yeah, I mean, that's good too.
But that's hard to make because you have to.
Are your
prepare.
your parents are all Southerners?
Oh, we're so south.
Okay, that makes sense.
We're so
Yeah,
south.
yeah.
Like it's not even funny. Like it just, I did the 23andMe,
Uh-huh.
and my DNA test came back as 90% Vietnamese.
Hell yeah.
Like 3% Chinese dye or something, but 90%.
Yeah, like with pho, it's such a ubiquitous Vietnamese thing
Yeah.
that people associate like you have to love pho, but like once you're
No.
like within the Vietnamese thing, it's like you don't have to love pho
No,
if you're
pho is so basic. I mean, it's like
It's-
nice and like complicated
Yeah.
to make, whatever. But it's such a basic flavor where I feel like there's bún riêu, there's like
canh chua.
canh chua, there's oh my god, there's hủ tiếu. There are all these things. There's bún bò Huế. There's so many things that are just full of flavor. And I'm like, oh, come on, y'all. That's a morning dish. Like that's breakfast.
I think
for
that
real.
Wei Fu is like the biggest pain in the ass to make
Oh yeah.
because it's all just like batter and then you have to like
Little
wrap
things, yeah.
it. It's all
Have you tried
intricate.
making the little
the plate.
bun bun blocks?
Oh.
The little like
No,
it's the clear
again,
one.
spoiled by San Jose, you just go to like some lady's house and
I
get
know.
it.
Yeah, and that's what I wish. Like that's like if I ever moved to the West Coast, I would just spend like a month in San Jose just to eat because I tried making those and they're such a bitch to make.
Yeah.
And they're like, and like in Vietnam, like there's always that old woman that has like a huge thing of it. I'm like,
Yeah.
how long were you making this?
But like that's, you know, she's a Vietnamese woman.
Yeah,
That's what
she's
she
like,
does all day.
She's like, I got this.
Yeah, yeah.
You can do this, and I'm like,
They're like her husband's just drinking coffee
he's
on
like
the side.
taking a nap on a hammock.
Yeah.
What a useless man.
Avoiding his other family.
Yeah, and it's like, but then like she's really thankful for him because he drives her to the market.
Yes.
She's like, oh, I couldn't
Yeah.
do this without him. I'm like, you did everything else without him. Did
Yeah.
you really need this bike? You could have walked this at this point.
Well, like the biggest news of a Vietnamese man is like when Vietnamese women seek companionship. Like
Yeah.
Vietnamese women hate being alone. Like
Oh,
they
yeah.
hate it.
They love talking. They can talk forever.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like that's the biggest attribute of the Vietnamese
true.
man. He's just in the house.
He's just there.
As long as he's there, like when he leaves to have his secret family, as long as he comes back and he's there at night.
That's so funny. That's so crazy. Yeah. But like, have you ever noticed how like as soon as like the guys go out and hang out with each other, like they're really talkative, and then when they come home, they're just like quiet
Yeah.
and listening
Yeah.
and just there to
Yeah.
just be.
Yeah.
They're just being.
Right. Well, like, you know, at Vietnamese parties, it's like the way it breaks down is like you come into the house.
Yeah.
In the living room is all the older men, red face, drinking, gambling, talking
Yep.
shit.
Yeah.
And then in the kitchen is all the women just talking shit about the men.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, I feel like I love talking shit about men. I love like anything with Vietnamese women. We just like we will never get bored talking shit
Yeah.
about each other, about the world, and it doesn't mean anything. Like it's. I mean, I love the Vietnamese language because there's so many ways that you can play on words, that you can like say things that can mean one thing, mean another, and I think there's such a joy in that that I feel like I'm
It is
losing.
the hardest language to learn.
Oh yeah, I'm forgetting so much.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting so much, and it makes me so sad.
Yeah, I try to, because I don't hear it as much out here, so I'll try to like, when I watch YouTube tutorials, I'll watch the Vietnamese one instead of
Yeah.
like the English one, just so I can hear it. And it's like, oh yeah, that's what that is.
That's true. That's so smart. And now I'm just like I'm trying to watch like more Vietnamese movies without the subtitles.
I still need the subtitles because I never learned how to read and write it. So I was like, okay, that's that word. So,
That's true. I'm like slowly learning how to write and read. I mean, I'm okay. I think I can read on like a kindergarten level.
I can't even read at a kindergarten level.
You
I can
know?
barely speak at a kindergarten level at this point.
Yeah.
But like, you know, it just takes like a little bit of
Yeah.
momentum. Like if I go back to Vietnam, I think within 3 months, it all comes back to me.
Yeah, it comes back because like your mom, that's all she grew up talking to you
Yeah.
about. Like I've forgotten curse words, and I'm like,
Really?
oh, I thought I was, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting how to say this, I'm forgetting how to say that, and then you go back to Vietnam and it's like, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But it's funny because like everyone in Vietnam makes fun of me because they're like, oh, you have such a southern accent, and oh my gosh, you're so formal. And I'm like, yeah, because my mom taught me to be respectful to my elders. Like I say everything with like, you know, like I'm the mom, and my friends are like, Dune, like give it. And I'm like, that's so aggressive. Can we like start out with a please? And like, we don't say please anymore. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
You go xin chào.
Yeah, sit down. And they're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm
It's like,
saying.
I'm not the president.
Yeah, they're like, I'm saying good morning to you. They're like, no. And then I see with my cousins, like they're like, like, okay, we don't use words anymore.
All right, nope.
All right.
All right.
Cool.
All right. Well, that's a good place to end it. So, besides.
Add your mom on
Huh?
Facebook or Instagram.
Oh no, never.
Oh my gosh.
Where can people find more of your work?
They can check my Instagram
Which is?
at Carolina, Carolina Kaydo. That's where I mostly hang out. And then you can check out my website. It's carolinado.com. And
What's your Venmo?
yeah,
send her money
my Venmo
for the
is-
Sống Collective.
my Venmo is Carolina Doe.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only platform in which I got my full name. I don't have my name on any other thing because Carolina Doe is a very common name.
Interesting.
Because it's Carolina as in North Carolina and Doe is a verb. Do is a
Oh.
verb. So like I'm fucked.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how you can find my stuff. Or if you see me in real life, talk to me.
Yeah. And then support Queens, the series.
Yep.
Support the Sống Collective.
Yep, and if you're a Vietnamese artist, please reach out.
Yeah.
I'm always ready to support and help.
All right. You can find more of The Bad Asian at The Bad Asian Show on Instagram and I think probably not Twitter. Just find us on Instagram. Google The Bad Asian Show. We're the only one. You can find me at David Nguyen, and then normally Imran is here. You can find him at Imran the G. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care. Bye.
Bye.